Yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's time to ring the alarm. This is Let's Talk About It, the return of Let's Talk About It with G-Lew, the homie Big D. We are keeping it real tonight. And tonight is all about encouraging people to vote. Now, I want to say this before we start the show. Everyone, let's keep it respectful. This is not a show about, you know what I mean, dogging the other candidate. We ain't going to do a gang of pro this and pro that. Everyone can speak their mind, and everyone is obviously has the right to vote for who they want for. But our main focus is tonight is to get everyone out to vote tomorrow to exercise your right to vote. You can't talk shit and you don't go vote. You know what I mean? So I want to say that we want to keep it respectful, people. So this is not a time to bash and get on here and gangbang on one another, right? We're just going to keep it respectful and encourage people to vote. But you can call and voice your opinion. You want people to voice their opinion and speak about how they feel, the changes and all the things we want. That's the reason for this presidency, candidacy, and we want to encourage people to vote for the other things on the ballot as well. Not just the presidency, it's other things on the ballot that people need to know about and vote for as well. So we just want to open up the lines tonight, talk about it respectfully. Once again, this is the G-Lew Show. Monday nights, Let's Talk About It. The return of Let's Talk About It with me and the homie Big D. Shout out to our producer, DD Hairston, and everyone in the chat tonight. Once again, people, before we start, please keep everything respectful, okay? This ain't no gangbang session on the candidacy, right? We're going to keep it respectful, but we're going to talk about it. You know what I mean? And most importantly, we want people to exercise their right to vote. Tomorrow is the official day. If you haven't voted already, go out tomorrow and vote, man, because some people gave their lives to vote. You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit. I couldn't vote at one time. You know what I mean? So I have the right to vote. I got to go vote. And I'm going to keep it respectful no matter who wins. It is what it is. You feel me? So with that being said, let's kick this thing off. Bring in my co-host. The homie Big D is in the building. Big Diesel back. Let's talk about it, baby. What up, homie?
What up, G-Lew? What's going on, big dog?
I got my USA shirt on tonight, representing. You know what I mean? Hey. Yeah, I thought it was only right.
You know, you'll be surprised. They call it the motherland, right? So, hey, shout out to the United States of America, bro.
We're here. We're gonna make the best of it, man. What's going on, homie?
Oh, nothing much. Just right here, kicking back, still on top of my celebrations. You know, the Dodgers winning the World Series, man, and Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, the Bengals beat us yesterday.
Bengals, you know what I mean? You know, no disrespect. You know what I mean? I love football, man. We just had a better game than the Raiders did yesterday. That's all, man.
It's all good. It's all good. Man. Shout out to everyone in the chat tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're here, go tell somebody else, tell a friend, even tell a hater to tell a player, man. We are here tonight talking about it. Big D is back, y'all.
What's up? What's up, family? Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited to tell you the truth. Tonight is election eve. You know what I mean? You guys got to realize, man, within a certain amount of hours, man, you know, we're going to have a change tomorrow. So like G-Lew said, man, let's be excited in what's taking place and how much we are volunteering and getting involved. So that's what the night's really all about, because to tell you the truth, we had this conversation a couple years back, right, G-Lew?
Yes, sir. We did this 4 years ago. So Big D brought it to my attention. It's only right we do it again, because this is what this show and our platforms need to be about. You know what I mean? Really talking about something. So everyone else be saying, let's talk about it. We're the originators. Let's talk about it. So it's only right we talk about real shit. And tomorrow is the official voting day. So let's talk about it.
Right. And we should be excited, like I said, man. You know what I mean? As citizens of this country, man, you know, getting involved in some things that we do and some things that we don't. But as I mentioned, you know, 4 years ago, man, things were a lot different. It was my third time voting, to tell you the truth. And things obviously changed throughout these periodic years, man. But it's not to throw people under the bus, like you guys heard G-Lew said earlier, right? We already know who's here and who's contending for presidency, right? You got two people. You got a man, you got a woman. You know, you got
and let me say, the first time, whether you guys like her, whatever, it's the first time, I think. Well, not the second time. Hillary, I think, ran, but it's the first time a woman has a chance to, you know what I mean, be a president also. So just want to throw that in there. You know what I mean? Go ahead, bro.
And I thought that I'm glad you did, because that's what I was going to refer to tell you the truth. And to me, to tell you the truth, you know what I mean, I'm not really a supporter of, you know, Kamala Harris, but I'm going to keep it, you know what I mean, real. You know, we're going to keep it respectful. I think it will be awesome between these two presidents that are the nominees. Let me tell you, if President Trump don't win, hey, I'm going to support Kamala Harris, like I said. It's going to be exciting, to tell you the truth, if she comes on to see the first woman presidency and see what she could got going on, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't support, the Democratic side or whatever, this is not really what tonight's all about. It's
Hey,
what.
hey, oh, let me ask you this, Big D, not to cut you off, but speaking of Democrat and whether it's about Kamala or whatever, is it one time you were a Democrat and you changed, like what, even before Trump? I know you support Trump, but even before that, what made you, if you switched, or I know it's only your third time, mine too, probably third, something like that. But
Yeah.
what made you even want to go Republican side, aside from Trump?
Well, in the beginning, we saw that Trump was going against, I forgot the first time, right? It was in 2016, okay? And
Yeah.
then after, I saw everything that President Trump at that time was going for, and how much criticism and how much that he was, fighting the laws, and things were addressed. And they brought up a lot of things about President Trump on his personality. But sometimes, we got to bypass people's mistake and look at the overall, the bigger mission is where he came in. He wasn't even part of the Republican, Democratic, or whatever. He was just a regular civilian, right? That had a little bit of class and knowledge about how to make money. He presented himself in 2016, and within those 4 years, we can honestly say, or I can honestly say that, it was okay. There was a job, there was gas, the economy was good, everything was great. And then 2020 came on, I just wanted to go for, somebody that would give us a better support of the citizens.
Right.
I think citizens, us as citizens, right? We're the ones that are going out there. We're the ones that are voting. Without us, they got nothing going. So they don't realize, and that's what this whole thing's all about, to tell you the truth, is what are you going to do? Are you going to vote? That's what tonight's all about, the presentation, right? It's not even about, like we said, about Trump or Kamala. But going back 4 years ago, I thought at that moment, Donald Trump was a better selection, so I picked Donald Trump.
So even the last, because look, I want to ask you this too. And actually, this is the second time I think he's running against a female. I think he beat Hillary last time, right? If I'm not mistaken. So this is the second time Trump be bullying these women, man. Now let me stop. But but okay, but let me ask you this. First, I asked you about what made you go Republican. But second, I want to ask you this, and people out there again. Now, again, I'm not saying this to start going in and pro boom boom. I just want to ask the people opinion. What made people lean Trump side? Because I know even 4 years ago, before the election, as it went on, people went more to his side. But at first, everyone was kind of against Trump, and especially all minorities, blacks and Hispanics, because there was a lot of talk and stuff going on. You know what I mean? And now I see a lot of people have changed, black and brown. You know what I mean? A lot of people support Trump. So I want to know what it was. What do you think it was for not only you, but as a whole, as people kind of changed and went more on Trump's side?
Right. Well, I will believe, and I would think that it has to do, where's our money going? Right? When it comes to taxes, as individuals, as American citizens, we pay taxes. So where's our money going? I think that's what's really going on with this economy, right? How things are elevating and things are decreasing, right? The first 4 years, 2016, 2020, despite all the critics, despite everything that was going against Donald Trump, even there was some things that they said, I heard of myself. But see, I'm not here to agree really what President Trump or ex-President Trump, what he says, because a lot of people, when we come out here, we say a lot of things that, you know what I'm saying? But it's what we do. Right. The action is everything. You know what I'm saying? So I think with him, we had a lot of bit more sources, things were a little bit more stable. We got to understand that, this world is in, borderline and contention between, what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of people over and they look at us. And it was not to put, who President Trump was going against the first time, which was Hillary Clinton, like you mentioned.
Right.
Right. But after that, to know that everything at that point was steady. We'll say the word steady. Things were not going up. Things were not going out. Things had a better, what they say 4 years ago, or the things were just better and they were more settled. Now, amongst Joe Biden came and Kamala Harris, things have changed. For whatever narrative, you got to understand these two side parties, man, they have different narratives. They got different ways of running this country. So people have subsided and have lived, right? We have lived past these last 4 years. And I would say some people are okay with it, but there's a lot of people, I think, who disagree. Because you got to understand, I come from that middle class income, bro.
Right. But now it seems like middle class is almost no more. It's middle class is almost being taken out to where it's just poor and rich and poor. You know what I mean? But let me say this too. With I think the Democrat too before the Trump thing. I think a lot of people when Biden, because I personally voted for Biden. I'll keep it real, but I would say a lot of people are just upset. Period, because not only I'm not even giving Trump or whoever, but just Biden has not nothing has happened over these past 4 years really for people to be happy about. Some will say that some things good, some will say some things bad. And then obviously we seen Biden towards the end that he's not capable, period. So I'm glad he even stepped down finally because he's definitely not capable. But I think a lot of people are upset that a lot of things have not happened, gotten better. They've gotten really worse. We're more in the debt than we've ever been. Obviously, so a lot of that is crazy. But on the flip side with Trump, I see a lot of people in support of Trump, black and brown, right? I see a lot of people in support of Trump, but it mainly goes back when I ask them why, they say, like you say, it's about the money. But I think that a lot of people are going off of, not all, but some people just going off stimulus checks, and because we got a few dollars, which really seem good, but is that really the solution? Because that stimulus check wasn't much. It was a boost, but it kind of caused more harm than good, because when that shit was gone, everyone was in an uproar, and it's like we got more crime and all this shit going crazy, especially in the inner cities. You know what I mean? So what do you think that part when you say a lot of people support Trump because the first thing they say is, oh, we were getting money?
Right. But I think we were getting money economically way, the right way. I mean, providing jobs. I think supporting the economy, supporting our safety, and just make sure that there was no despair amongst we do, because we got to understand it's not just about voting for Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. As I think tonight, like you said, tonight, we're in election eve, and us as citizens, we have to overlook a lot of things are taking place. I'm not saying that Donald Trump done everything right, right? I'm not saying that Joe Biden has done everything right. In some sense, Kamala Harris was the vice president. I think through these last 4 years, I think, to be honest with you, she was being trained, right? For the next time that, let's just say Joe Biden was still in the race, she would have been in there, but Joe Biden would have won tomorrow, not knowing, we don't know, and she would have been under his card for 4 more years. So that gives her a gathering to learn a little bit more, to educate herself, to teach her. And I think she's brought up on the right reasoning, you know what I'm saying? But, she was still under that narrative when it came to back to Joe Biden's politics. And that's what it comes down to, because a lot of his policies they're not subsided with the human people, whether you're black, whether you're brown, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're freaking Jewish, whether you're Palestinian or any other part of the world. If you live in the United States of America, I think this is what the show's all about. It's about us going out there and voting and looking at the differences that these two Republican, Democratic, leaders who are going to run this nation, who honestly do they really work for? In some sense, they work for us.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to work for.
They work work for us, right? The government, we put these people up there. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't really matter, as I mentioned, as we're talking about, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Overall, whoever wins tomorrow, they still got to run the rest of this nation, whether you're Republican or Democratic. So that's why, to me, it was a lot easier when Trump, the first 4 years, yeah, his attitude sucks. Yeah, what he says stinks a lot of times, but it's what he does that made a difference. You know what I mean? To me. Now, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Now, as you understand, there's a lot of things that has to come with race, right? And I know there's a lot of heartache where this is sometimes for me, because it involves us too, right? The brown people, right? Like I said, I'm part of that middle class community, man. I had to make some of those decisions, just like we were saying. I'm not lying about it. Whether I was going to buy a certain amount of food or it was gas, and sometimes it was like that. Right. So I was only able to buy a certain amount of food and a certain amount of gas, you know what I'm saying, because of what the economy became about. Now, those are the type of realities and the things I'm living for. I don't care if it was Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Trump, or whoever else. It's who's running that nation at that part that makes a big difference. Now, as you said, race is being targeted. How do you feel as a black man, how they're improvise? Obama was saying, if you ain't black, then you ain't right. There's a lot of things that are saying that I feel like, man, it shouldn't even be like that. It's the whole purpose of even tonight is about go out and vote, not to talk crap. So how do you feel
Well,
about color being, you know what I'm saying?
I
That
don't see a color thing because at the end of the day, bro, we've been oppressed this whole. It don't matter who the fuck is excuse my language president. I think we've been oppressed, black and brown, for so long, bro, that we've made our own way, and we have to continue to make our own way, no matter who is president, because they're not going to really change how we're treated and how things. Just because whoever's president is not going to stop how things are treated. How some people are still going to be racist and some people are still not, and so I don't really think that makes a difference. I think people are going to have their own opinion when it comes to that. But I don't, agree because a lot of people, truthfully, like I'm speaking as a black man, a lot of black people didn't like Obama either. Don't think everyone that was black was for Obama. They weren't.
right.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that has anything to do with it. And then also with Kamala, I'm gonna keep it real. I was one that thought Kamala the whole this time, this presidency, I didn't know who she was, where she was. She was like, I didn't even know where she was. You know what I mean? As a vice president the whole time, to keep it real. But she's come alive now through this through
Change.
this run, and she showed me, more of who she is, and a lot that she's done that made me wake up and at least know who she is. But through this whole 4 years, I didn't know who she was because she was quiet, silent. I didn't even know she didn't have a voice. But I'm being told later that that's kind of what a vice president is supposed to do, to play the back and let the president. So you're not supposed to hear from her. So I don't know, but she's done a lot, I could say, through this presidential run to come alive and let people know who she is. I would give that. But going back to the race thing, I don't really pay attention to that because at the end of the day, bro, no matter who, even when Obama was in, nothing changed as far as race. And like I said, a lot of black people weren't happy with Obama either. So when it comes to race and all this shit, I don't really think that plays a part, bro, because I don't. Whoever's president, we're still oppressed, black and brown, bro. But we've come a long way. You know what I mean? And I think we need to continue to go a long way, no matter who is president. We need to take it upon ourselves to still do better and to do the things we need to do, bro. And also, I want to speak on this. Aside from the presidency, too, like we're talking about, people need to get out and vote. There's a lot of other things on that ballot too. People need to vote for your local, other things too that you need to pay attention to, because it's more important things too that affect you guys personally than the presidency in your own communities. You know what I mean? All these props and all these things people don't pay attention to. We need to pay attention to that. So when you go to the polls, we need to pay attention to all those props and different things too that's on that ballot. Is bigger than just Trump and Kamala as well. I want to point that out.
Right. And I think, I love how you said that and you elaborated on there.
Thank you.
Because that's what the topic is really about. Get out and vote. Participate on what's going on. You could go, you can have your ballots, right? You can have your ballots right here. You know what I'm saying? You can have your ballots, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to vote for any presidency. You could just vote for your proposition. You could vote on what city is giving you a prop, you know what I mean, to recommend, right? And that's where a lot of times where with this whole night, it's about getting involved. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, you don't have to like either one, but I'm pretty sure you want to know what's happening around your city, around your communities.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to raise the gas prices. They're going to lower it. You know what I'm saying? And then you find out a couple months after the new year, and you're going to wonder, well, why did this happen? Why is over here in Almani the taxes are higher more than over here in the city of Duarte? Well, hello, you voted or you didn't vote. So see, that's where the damage comes from, because when you're not participating on anything that you're involved in, then that's where the damage is at. Because the whole set and the whole moral is, get involved as an American. We participate and we try to get involved, and not only to our presidencies, but to our local communities. And if we're not getting involved in the higher standard, then at least on the middle standard, because we're middle class, we should at least make our propositions and get out there. And if we're not even doing any of that, because I used to be like that year, then there's a lot of us that still ain't voting, man. But I'm telling you, things are changing because people are paying attention, because it's revolving our household and it's revolving our wallets.
Right. Let me ask you this, Big D. And people also, we're going to open up these phone lines, man. We want to open up these phone lines and give people a chance to call in and speak your mind, man. Please speak about it. Let's talk about it. But I want to ask you this. Once whoever is voted president, let's just say Trump is, because I know you support Trump. What do you think immediately, effectively, that is going to take effect? What effect would he have in the real near future? Like, you think that will have an effect on the people for the good, in your opinion?
Honestly, I think what's relevant right now is what the headlines are, man, which is border security, inflation, and even abortion, to tell you the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because there's even a lot of women's rights that I disagree to, where, You know what I mean? Abortion should be in some sense because I'm pro-life, but I understand sometimes things health-wise, you know what I mean, can consider like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I think that she needs it's whether the baby lives or she lives. Or people deal with, you know what I mean, sometimes sexual harassments, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things are conductive out of that. So my only principle is, you know, if you're gonna, you know what I mean, unfortunately, you know, get rid of the child, make sure it's at an early age, but for standards. Other than that, you know what I mean, I just believe that, hey, you know what I mean, life should be life, man, you know, because sometimes we're, even us, we make wrong decisions and it shouldn't be, you know, consequences to, you know what I mean, having our abortions and so forth. But I think those three things are the economy and, you know, gas, you know, food, and I think abortion are the main things, man, the border. Those are the four
Okay.
topics.
Let me touch on two things. The border, I want to get on that too, because that was a thing too early, and people would more so think, just like you asked me about the race thing and how do black people feel.
Right.
I want you from a brown perspective. How do people feel? Because before, that was an issue a lot of people did have with Trump, that he was attacking the borders and all this, and a lot of these people are people, you know, like maybe your family or whoever that's being affected by this, and the borders are crazy, all this. But how do you personally feel about that? Because before, people were against that and how they treated people, and now I see people kind of for that border, you know what I mean, like patrol and more what's the word I'm looking for, where they protect the border and don't let as many people. I don't know, how do you feel about that, right? And then secondly, another thing I'm hearing Trump saying, and the people are going back and forth with, is him saying that he wants to give all police all immunity, right, for anything, so they can't be charged with anything. Which I understand what he's saying, protect the police, but how about the people when the police, we have bad police though? You know what I mean? Is he just protecting those police? Like, how does that work? You know, how do you feel about that?
Right. Okay, I'll go with the first one, right? When it comes to race, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, I want to say Hispanics, I can't speak for all of us, Latinos, Chicanos, well, Mexicanos, those who are in Central and South America who come up the borders, you know what I mean, and try to make a difference for life, man. You know, they're looking for that extra money, they're looking for that extra care, you know, they're looking for that extra, just gaining that new life, man, and trying to
American dream.
the American dream. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But now, you know, it's common sense this last 10 years, man. I think this last century, it's not just Mexicans that are coming over, man.
Oh, now you're right. Because I want to speak on that. I didn't mean to say when I said that. It's just like
It's understandable. I mean,
they're coming from everywhere now.
yeah. And it's even sad to say that, hey, even the cartels or people in Mexico, they're making a little side money from that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? To me, you know, if you're going to, you know, this country is made about rules and laws, bro. You know, either that's just the way it is. I've broken a lot of laws and I paid the price, you know, I did my time, you know, whatever. Now, these people, I get it. Sometimes it looks sad and sorrowing, man, when you have children and you got families and they're just running across that border because they're looking for some kind of sanctification, you know what I'm saying, justification. And then us brown people, we look at it still because us over here, you got to understand the people and the Chicanos and the Mexicanos who went through the system through the front gate, and it took them years and they paid everything. And now they're law abiding citizens. You know what I'm saying? They know English. They had to learn the policies. There's really nothing that when you go through the front, and I get it, everything's not going to be perfect in life and things are going to do what they do this time. And that's why the thing when it comes to the border, it's the law.
Right.
Yeah, you can't change the law. If they say you're crossing the border with no papers or going there and you've broken it, it's just like me. I've broken many laws, and when I got caught, I paid for them. And if that means you get arrested and you go back to your country, then that's part of the system. That's the gamble you already knew when you were already coming over here. When people
Right.
come from Chile, you know what I mean? When they come from Argentina, when they come from freaking Mexico and all that, they already know that there's probably a policy that they could go back to wherever they came from if they get caught. And there's nothing wrong with Donald Trump or even Kamala Harris has even implemented. She has hired the border and put things up. You know, she's reverting back. You know, I believe that the stuff that she did back in the days when she was a prosecutor, right?
Yeah,
When
I
she
agree.
was
I agree. I agree. Was foul. Was
right?
foul.
You
Foul.
know, now I ain't saying she did it perfectly, but I do believe she has some kind of knowledge and does. I just wish she would have, you know, spoken a little bit more about her policies a little bit more because I'm not, when I talk about, you know, Kamala Harris, the guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really putting her down as an individual. I'm just for me, I'm
Right.
just looking for a person that just has a better representation. That's it. And to me, Trump has it more than Kamala. But if Kamala came our presidency, I ain't gonna like it, but yeah, I'm gonna support her and make sure that she's successful because there's a lot of fun things and good things that could come behind it, because she'll be our first woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that people will support her in that knowledge and come behind her. And then from there, we could be a better, nation and have our first woman president, making history and trying to solidify it and gain opportunity and set an example for this nation. But as far as the border, I get it. Chicano, Mexicanos, we came from there. Everybody knows, a lot of people know a part of the history. This was native land. It goes back to the Mexicans, Chicanos, to Central America, South America. And things have changed since 1771, since our independence has been here. And now this is the new America. And now we have borders, and we got to subside by them, man. That's what I believe in.
Right. And then one more thing about the police immunity thing or whatever Trump is saying when it comes to the police.
Yeah, that part right there is something to worry about. But let's be honest, though. This is just my opinion, okay? In the last 4 years, man, I have seen things change, man, from a misdemeanor to a felony. And it's not right when you see people, when you're paying for an iPhone and you got a group of young kids or whoever, and as long as if it's under $1,000, they won't go to jail. It's just, you know what I mean? It's not a felony. So
Right.
The way things are going right now, there's nothing wrong with law, people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with law. Now, as you mentioned, I will hope that these new officers or the new standards will also include how to work with your communities when it comes to those who are on drugs, when it comes to those who have psychological problems. I think at the same time, whether it's Trump administration or the Kamala administration, they got to come in. Even though, these cops come in, they have to be a better publicity and have more knowledge on working with people as individuals.
That part, because see, it goes back, like you said, you can do immunity all day, but it goes back to some of these cops now, because I understand they need more police, so they're hiring them at higher rates, and they want more to come in, but they're having less. Like, let's keep it real, it doesn't take much to be a cop, bro. All you got to do is not be a felon and have a high school diploma, right? And you go through a little bit of training, whatever. Well, in different places is different. Some have to go through the jail first, like they used to have it, where they had to be correctional officers first, go through the jail before they hit the streets. But now I think it's different. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of new cops, rookie cops, that really don't know shit a lot about people skills, but then they put them in these communities, bro, that they don't know anything about. Like back in the day, at least people and the cops kind of were in tune with the community. Now they have a cop that comes from way over here. They put them over here and they don't know anything about this community here. So it's automatic. This is automatically messed up, where you may have a racist cop, or you just may have a cop that don't like these people. Like, you're just some thugs. We don't like you. And it's already disengaged, and it's bad blood. So the police and the community already have a disconnect. So that's part of the problem, I think, as well. So I think police need to go through better training, more skills, how to deal with people, and before you just throw them out there on the streets, because that's why we have so many of these things. I agree too. The cops got to protect themselves, and there's a lot of fools out there, you know what I mean, that put cops in harm. I understand, but you got to understand how to deal with people more, because a lot of times now that's why we have more police shootings and all this, because they don't know how to deal with people. They shoot first and ask questions later, when sometimes they can maybe subdue someone, or they don't have to always shoot them first. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of that going on. But you got Trump coming in saying he's just going to give all cops immunity, and that may not always, because we're finding out a lot of times some of these cops are bad, bro. You know what I mean? And it comes out later.
Right. I like how you pitched that. See, at the same time, but you got to understand, the reason why the law is being implemented and maybe more forcible, where Trump is saying definition of, is because we got to be honest. I'm being honest, bro. To see all these kids and all these youngsters and elders going into, public places and taking stuff like that.
That's out of control. I agree.
Just like the other day when Dodger Stadium, right, looting the freaking, taking all the Nike store and all that. We don't need that.
Yeah,
that affects our communities, bro.
I agree.
The law, when the law's lower, bro. If I was younger, man, people are up to par. Oh, well, the new law is, if you steal less than $1,000, all you get is you won't get a felony, you get a misdemeanor. So the way the economy and the way things are right now, you know what I mean? With gas prices up and everything's up and everything, you think you're gonna go out there and steal? Come on, bro. I'm gonna be part of the problem. Where's the solution at? That's what I'm saying. So that's why Trump, I think, implemented and wants these people and these officers to be forceful, because what's taking place right now and how freaking the crime, the way it's being delegated, bro, hardcore.
Right. Right. I agree, man, because shit is out of control too with the people out here, man. Especially these youngsters are definitely out of control. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but that's a whole different issue because that starts at home too. You know what I mean? How these kids are raised. But let me ask you this one more thing on this Trump thing, because you're speaking of felonies and all this. How do you feel about our, who could be our president? Donald Trump tomorrow could be the next second for time. But what do you say about his issues, right? Because you and
His
I
charges, his crimes.
felonies and all this, but how do you feel about a president? I've never seen this before. A president that has, I don't know what's going on with his court situation back and forth, if he's already been convicted, but from what I hear, he has felonies or is proceeding and all this. How do you feel about a president that's a so-called convicted felon being a president?
Well, you know what? If you notice in these last couple of weeks, Kamala hasn't even referred to Trump as a criminal and took all her stuff back away. Because let's just be honest, let's keep it real. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of us. There's over like 10 million, maybe 15 million of us who have committed crime, who have been through the system, and we came out and we're trying to change our lives, and we're looking for a difference in the right road. And the path is, not only to raise ourselves up and do the right things, but also our children who we're talking about. If you want us to be good about things going towards the future, then raise your children. If you're going to be with your lady, stay married. You don't have to be married, stay with your family. So that takes a big place, what I'm saying? And I think that's why people got away from, the outside skirts are going to talk about Trump and he's a convicted felon and he's done this and that. He has this charges and those charges. But what about the ones that the people are working for? What about the ones who committed crime and made a change?
Right.
We're talking to a lot of us. So, that right there don't really affect me on what his criminal past is.
I'm just speaking. I'm a felon, you know what I mean? But we got to go through those processes though, right? If you go get a job, like we're good now, it's years, but you go to a job even today, still, if you haven't been in trouble, I haven't been in trouble in years, bro. But that may still come back on my record. Some people may have the right to say, no, I don't want to hire you. You know what I mean? For some shit you did 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right. It's just like Gasman said, what I'm saying? It'll be hypocritical to call Trump a criminal when I was one. You know what I mean? So, you don't have to tell me and remind me that I'm a criminal, because I'll be honest with you, I am. Ain't nothing to hide about that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Since he's been Trump since 2016, man, 12 years, I'm over a decade. I have not seen, these other people on this other side, whether you call them Democrats or call them, you know what I'm saying? You call
but Stomp said something right there. You can't get in our military or vote as a current felon, though. So how can one be a president as a felon currently?
Well, because I think he's overstanding. He has over petitioned himself to be part. And so far, like he said, he has been convicted of it. But he's also taken it back to the courts where decisions are saying, and we all know if he becomes president, he's possibility going to.
He got the power. He got
erase it.
Power. It goes.
But I think if somebody was accusing me and being very heartful about it, don't get into my personal stuff when it comes to my ladies, this and that. Only get at me if I'm governing this nation, man. And that's what it is. To be honest, that's the main thing what it is, man. I need somebody that's going to be decisiveness, bro. I need somebody that's going to go out there when there's a decision that needs to be made, man, that he or she's going to make that thing. Now, whether their background is, because we know a little bit about Kamala too, her little background.
She's passing the coochie around. What is that about? She's passing the coochie around? Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy.
That's what I'm saying, huh?
Oh
Politics and judgment comes in.
La la la.
Where I don't care if she did that. She was a woman back in the days. And I don't care if Trump was a so-called criminal up to par recently, got charged a couple months ago. What really supports me and where I'm looking at is somebody who's going to be decisiveness and is going to make those right decisions for not only for this nation, but because the way this world revolves is that people even around the world, they're tapped into what's going to happen, man. And that's the exciting, to tell you the truth, man. To me, that's exciting. People, that's why I go out there and vote. That's what this whole night's all about.
They say she slept with Monte. Well, a lot of women sleep with people. I'm not gonna, I don't know who she slept with. Y'all ain't right. And then he said, I don't want her for my president. I want a woman my daughters can look up to. Damn. Whew. Okay, but I told you, people, please keep it respectful. We're not doing that tonight. We're just speaking. We're trying to just speak. We just want people to vote and get out there and vote. We're not here to disrespect people. Please keep it respectful. People, please.
Right.
Shout out to Tweed Cadillac in the chat. Okay, also, I'm gonna go ahead and put this number up there. We're gonna continue speaking on this, right? But I'm gonna put the number up there so people can call in and voice your opinion. But please keep it respectful. We just want to know: are you going to vote? You know what I mean? If your policies and what you want change for, and what you like and don't like. We're not here to gang bang, and fuck Kamala, fuck Trump. We're just here to just talk about the policies and what we need to do better, man, and make this country better, man. You know what I mean? If possible. That's all we're doing tonight, people. What up, Rude Boy? What up, everyone in the chat? But yeah, hold up. Let me see. So let me see. Did I put
What
it
up,
up?
chat? Just want to say what's up, man. We are back right here on the G-Lew show. You know what I'm saying? We're tapped in on a Monday night. You know what I'm saying? We talking about it, but we're being respectful about it and we're being humble about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best part. That's what we're trying to iterate. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to give a demonstration, man, that we can come together and that we can talk about certain things. That Kamala Harris, if she's the next presidency, even though I despise and don't like what she's done, and that her policies then when she sets tone, that it's going to matter because she's our president of this nation, bro. And that's really big. If we ain't supporting her, then you know what I mean? This people are talking about revolution again, the revolution or war, you know what I mean? Sharing differences. I mean, it's just like, really?
Says he shut down
over these two really presidents. I mean, I'm not gonna fight for them like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no proud boy like that, right? I ain't a real Republican like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing it what's right for this nation, for me, for my neighbor. You know what I mean? If we're part of the middle class, you know what I mean? I consider myself middle class, man. I have my ups and I have my downs because in all reality, it's about reality.
Hey, I'm tripping out on these guys. I mean, I'm saying keep it respectful, but y'all are too funny, man. I'm reading some of these comments. The homie Tweed said Kamala shut down Backpage, man. That ain't right. Y'all are too funny. Oh my God. Okay, but on some real shit. People call in if you want your voice heard. And I want to know who's voting tomorrow, who's not voting, and why you're not voting, who's voting for the first time. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
I think that was fun.
Yeah.
We did this 4 years ago, Pops, right?
We did.
We went out.
We did.
You did your thing. You voted for who you voted for, right? You said you voted for Joe Biden. I think me and you have been friends since that point.
Yeah.
We had no differences. We haven't fought or anything. We haven't even got a little tension going on. It was just like, hey,
you know me. I don't see at the end of the day. I'm a vote because it's my right to vote, but I'm not here to. I'm not gonna like gang. I'm not gonna bang for Kamala or Trump. At the end of the day, I'm a vote. That's my right, and I hope that the best person wins. But whoever wins, it is what it is. We got to live with it and deal with it regardless. So you know what I mean. So whoever you vote for, that's your right. You know what I mean. That's why you have the right to do so. You know what I mean.
But as I mentioned, bro, you know what I mean. We did it 4 years ago. And we had fun doing it. And that's if you look at the title and the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're telling. Get out and vote. You know what I mean? Kamala Harris is saying it. Donald Trump is saying it. They could be in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Utah, and all they're asking for is somebody to participate and get out there and do. It's not who you vote for. I don't think me and G-Lew even care. To us, this is just another beautiful night right here. Let's talk about it. We're family. We're friends. There's like 20 of you on right now in the chat, man. You guys are saying a lot right there. But it's saying, you know, like G-Lew said, hey, let's be neutral about it, man. Do you have anything saying positive on the other side? Don't you see me referring to Kamala Harris as much as I talked about this, but I still have respect for her?
Right.
You know, I still have respect for the Democrats, you know what I mean, or the independents. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm keeping it real. Because after tomorrow, man, you know what I mean? Life's just going to go on. On January, we might see the change. And then we're going to see who our new leader is going to be for 4 more years. Now, if you could live with that, and if you like their policies and their laws and everything, then as we mentioned, look at the title, get out and
vote.
This ain't about Kamala Harris. This is not about Joe Biden. You know, this is not about Donald Trump. This is basically about, you know what I mean, our policies and our propositions and what we do as Americans. What do we do as citizens? Because that's another topic right now. Because supposedly, you know, there's non-citizens. They're out there. They're giving them the right to vote. And that's the thing that, hey, you know what I'm saying? How does that even refer? And how does the definition of even that?
Hey, let me ask you this, Big D, because even though a lot of times we see this too, people get out and vote, and how important or how important, or how much effect does the vote have? Because we see, as we've seen in the past, the people's vote, and then you have the electoral college vote, all that shit, which makes a big difference. Do you know anything about that, and what is your take on that? Because a lot of times that changes shit. Everyone can go out and vote, but then you can have the electoral college thing come in and play a big difference, as we've seen in the past with these elections.
Right. These rules and these laws and these were made many years ago, bro. You know what I mean? They're not worried about, you know what I mean, standard numbers as far as individuals. There's 300 and something plus million people in this nation. They don't worry about that. They take a certain amount of numbers given from a state, and that's how they go. You know, it's not about the popular vote. It's not about the other vote. It's about, you know what I mean, what is that new vote, that where it is, where you go in there and Iowa gives 3 points, California gives 20, you know, this state gives 2, this state gives 1, this state gives, and a lot of this, to tell you the truth, where does this come from? Come on, people. This is history right here.
Right.
The Democratic Party and the Republican Party were made a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? As I mentioned, assassinations were done. Attempted murders, you know what I'm saying? On policies, you know what I mean? On what propositions, on what bills. And this is supposed to be about people. It's not about our presidency. It's not about really about our government. And those are important too. Who are we going to vote for? Who's going to be our House representative? Who's going to be your mayor? Who's going to be your governor? I'm a little disappointed in my governor in California, to tell you the truth. And he's on the ballot right now too, because people are looking for what's the word.
Let's talk about that. Like, that's what I was saying too. Is other shit too we got to look at. You know what I mean? Which
really,
those really affect us really more than the presidency, like your governors and your senators and your
even your
mayors
in your state. Yeah, that's why you go out there and vote. You don't have to vote for Trump or Kamala tomorrow, people. You could just go vote on your city and your local proposition to you, what happens into your state and their policies and so forth, right? Where you live at, your district.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where you come from. You know?
Right. We got a caller. Let me go see it now. I see people in the chat getting upset. And I told y'all don't do that, man. Y'all can't let this shit take it personal, man. This is shit that we're just talking and speaking pot. Don't take this shit personal. I don't know why y'all do that.
We'll give it like this, and maybe how G-Lew said, 2-3 minutes, just in case the next caller.
Press 1 to send a voicemail. Press 2.
Let me go to the phone lines. Caller, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, G-Lew? This is Beto.
Hey, what's up, Beto? Man? What's up, my boy? Hey, I'm glad you called, right? Because we got a homie, Beto. I don't know if you want me to speak on it. I know you're behind you're on vacation right now, right? How do you? Let me tell us how you feel about this election, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't really feel too strongly, if I'm being honest, about either candidate, right?
Okay.
As far as I go, I'm right now I would like to speak on the propositions, right? So
right, that's what I said. I'm glad you said that. People, go ahead. That's important. That's what I want to speak on. Go ahead, Beto. My bad.
Right. Okay. So look. So we got on the ballot this year. They got Proposition 36, right? And then they got Proposition 6.
Yeah.
So Proposition 6, right? Right. It removes involuntary servitude from California prisons. So basically, slavery was never abolished, right? California state prisons still could implement slavery if they choose to, right? So by voting yes on Proposition 6, you remove involuntary servitude from the California state prison, right? Because involuntary servitude is slavery, right? Slavery and forced labor is wrong. It should not be a part of California's reality. All humans deserve the right to consent, right?
Right.
Additionally, the reason why we should vote no on Proposition 36 is because basically Proposition 36 is 3 strikes on 2.0, you know?
Right.
It imposes harsher penalties for repeat offenses, disproportionately harming black, brown, and poor communities, right? So over the next year, chip on this, Proposition 36 is gonna remove $750 million in funding from successful drug treatment and homelessness prevention programs. It's going to take away $300 million from services for survivors of crime. It's going to reduce $10 million from school-based violence prevention programs, and it's going to impose new penalties for drug use and increase penalties for other offenses. Right.
Right.
So basically, it's going to lead us to over the 10 years, it's going to send like 1.5 million more people to state prison. So, I mean, that's what I would like to speak on today. I heard you guys, dialoguing about the election and stuff, and
Yeah.
what
Let me ask you this: What is the proposition? What is the Proposition 36 for, though? Aren't they implementing and saying that this is for making severe and better crime to fight crime and all that? What is Proposition 36?
Yeah, so basically all propositions, right? They all stipulate one little small thing, but what the people don't realize is that by passing you're right, it is for like petty theft, smashing into store and grabs and stuff like that. But in the background, if you read the small print, they're actually taking from like like drug programs. They're not wanting to help with homelessness,
Which
like
is a big
all the
problem.
money that the state gives to these programs, which is a big problem.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
And what's crazy about that, because that's what my felony is for right there, is Proposition 36, because I got busted with 2 pounds of methamphetamine. If you guys remember back in the 90s, Proposition 36 was for drugs, as we mentioned still now, and how much time you would get. And then for that, I took my felony because I got busted with a gun too. So I took a strike, I took a felony, and what they did is they did my Prop 36 to a misdemeanor, and then I did my county lit or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. I'm glad that you implement that, because that's something that I'm going to look a little bit more, because I looked at Proposition 36, and I'm just trying to, in some sense, as we talked about earlier, how communities and thieves are coming out and how they're doing the exploitation and just stealing stuff like out of hand. And I even seen guns are pulling down. So how would you even, like you said, it has it, and it's always what the good and the bad is. They'll put like, okay, this is for this, but then again, it's tackling this. So, I got to really look on that proposition right there.
Yeah. And Beto, I'm glad you called in, bro. Thank you for calling in, but thank you for emphasizing the props, because that's what, like you said, besides, because I see everyone getting in their feelings about this Trump and Kamala, but it's bigger shit as well. We got to think about the shit that affects us personally, like someone like you behind the walls right now. And these props and all these things are important, bro, that we overlook, homie. Right. So I'm glad you called in and spoke on this, bro.
Right. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I thank you guys for giving me your guys' time. And let's vote yes on Proposition 6. Let's get this population ending the slavery. And I appreciate you guys' time, man. I hope you guys have a good day.
Much love, Beto. Thank you, homie. Freedom, Beto.
Yeah, much. Yes, sir. So, thank you.
Let's take another caller. We got another caller.
Wes Carson.
Oh, we got Wes Carson in the house. Caller, hello.
Yes, hello. Big D, G-Lew.
Salute.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. This is Wes Carson. How you guys doing?
Doing good, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, Big D?
I'm doing good, man.
I just want to say, good. I just want to say congratulations on the great show. I think you guys have a good show going. I agree with the unity. To me, this is a great country. This is, to me, the best country in the world. That's why so many people want to come to this country to this day. My parents came to this country illegally. I was blessed to be born in California and have opportunities that maybe I wouldn't have had back in where my parents are from in Mexico. Not to say anything bad about Mexico, but this is a great country. I always tell people the reason I prove it is because you still, to this day in 2024, have people coming here from all over the world trying to get in, whether it's legally or illegally. They're still trying to come to this country to find a better opportunity.
Right.
I'm Democrat. I do vote Democrat, but I understand that the Democratic Party is not perfect. I don't agree with every single thing that they do. There's been stuff that I don't agree with, but in reality, none of us are really going to be in agreement 100% with the candidate that we choose. There's never a perfect candidate that's going to go and run the White House and run this country, and we're not always going to be in agreement, even if we support them. So I just want to say that. I just want to give my 2 cents and just congratulate you guys on a good show tonight.
Thank you, Wes Carson. Thank you for your call and your opinion, and and just you, brother, being in support of us tonight. Thank you.
Right. And I like what he said. I like what you said. I'm gonna just piggyback up what you said, Wes Carson. As I mentioned, as we mentioned, this country is great, man. It's beautiful. It has a lot of. Go ahead, take that call.
Okay, caller, call now. He someone else was calling. Call back, caller. The phone lines are free. We can only take one caller at a time, so call back. The line is open now. Go ahead, Big D.
But just as he mentioned, I don't agree with everything that Trump does or what actually plans.
Okay, we got a caller. Let me see.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay, caller, hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, it's me, Dee. I didn't know if it was me or not because I muted my TV.
What up, Dee?
Oh, it's me, Dee.
What's up, Dee? Let's talk about
Hey, let's do this. You know, Dee is an independent.
Okay.
And like the other caller said, Dee is an independent because I like some of the things that the Republicans stand for. My daddy was a starch Republican. He was that old school Republican.
Right.
Not this new school Republican. You know, he was a Reagan Republican. So he convinced me to vote for Reagan one time. So, and I like what some of these Democrats stand for. So as an independent, I can sway both ways.
Right.
And somebody put in the comments about facts and not feelings. And this is where Dee comes in. Dee is a fact checker. Everything about Dee is just facts. It's not on my feelings. It's not on my emotions. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just facts. And everybody loves when I fact check Miss Harris. And I talk about the things Miss Harris did and all of her inconsistencies or some of the things that she did as Attorney General that are not copacetic. And I get a lot of high fives and I get a lot of likes. But they do not like when I fact check Mr. Trump. Then I get a lot of hate and everybody hates me. Let's just be even because that's who I am. I am the fact checker and I fact check on both sides. So let's just keep it even. Let's keep it real. And you have to, when you go out and vote, and everybody just go and vote, you know. And, you know, someone wants to get spiritual. If you get spiritual, we're not supposed to vote at all if you're a Christian. The Bible says do not put anybody above Most High. You're not supposed to pick a leader. He picks it for you. So if you want to get spiritual, you can go that way as well. So, but when you go and vote, you got to vote for what's best for your needs and what's best for you. If you're rich, you love that you don't have to pay taxes. I've always been middle class when I was a kid, but as a working person, when I had to strike out on my own, and I'd never received a tax refund, I had to write checks. So I always think what's in the best interest of me. And then you have to think of what's in the best interest for you and the people that you know. If you know someone that receives Section 8 or somebody that receives daycare or childcare or Head Start or SNAP benefits, then you vote on that. Someone that receives SSI, then you vote on that. And who's going to give it to you? Because SSI is not a handout or whatever they call it. You work from the time I was in the 9th grade and started working, I started paying into SSI. So that's not a handout. It is something that you earn and you deserve it. You're supposed to get that back. So anyone that tries to take it away from you, you vote no on because you earned that. So you make your vote on what's best for you and what's going to help you as a person. And like I was explaining to someone else, if you were on my live, I explained what a tariff is. Tariff does not help us, the consumer. It helps the other country because we pay more. So you sit down and you ask yourself what's best for you. If you know someone that gets these programs, like I know people that have Section 8, the last thing I want is them to lose their Section 8. So that's how you vote. So when I say, please don't dump on me because I fact check you, like I said, I'm independent. I don't particularly care for either party. I think both parties are users. I think they come after the race and they look for Hispanics and they look for blacks once every 4 years, you know. And what I do give to Miss Harris is she is the one who passed that lynching law, where now it's against the law to lynch somebody. So when they say, what did she do as VP? That's what she did. As a senator, she was not able to get that passed. As a VP, she got that passed. So it is against the law now to lynch somebody. So as we saw my husband's cousin get lynched And that's what that big mob was about, where all those riots took place. That was my husband's cousin who got lynched in the middle of the street. So all I want to do is say, don't come after me. I don't take none of this personal. And you know, Big D, I have fact checked Harris, and I have fact checked Trump. And G-Lew knows I fact check everybody. I'm just a fact checker. So, but when you go out there and you vote for on what's going to do best for your family. You know, and the same thing with my husband can't stand Gaston, but Gaston is the one who has my brother's case, who's been locked up for 18 years and is on the verge of getting out because Gaston didn't understand why my brother was ever tried. So a lot of people hate him, but he's the one who has let a lot of people out that had 3 and 4 enhancements that went to prison. And he was like, why is that so? So even though like my husband can't stand Gaston, I'm sitting there saying, please don't let him lose because he's trying to get my brother out of jail. So please vote back for Gaston. Don't let him get kicked out because I want to see my brother out of jail after 18 years of being falsely in prison for 18 years. Wow. So stop being angry in the comments. Stop being mad. Stop disparaging people. And please, as women, you don't have to like this woman. But as women, let's not disparage other women. That we have to stop doing as women. I have to tell another person the same thing. You don't have to like a woman not to beat down a woman. Women, we are very terrible about beating down women and criticizing women. And we as women have to stop doing. There's a lot of women I don't particularly care for. I told you when I first saw the prosecutor come across, I was like, not the prosecutor. But I will not speak bad about another woman. Women, we have to uplift each other and stop being the first ones to tear a woman down. I didn't particularly care for Clinton, but I did not say bad things about that lady because she was a woman. Now, Obama's a whole different story. I can say whatever I want to about him. No, I'm just joking. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I just want to say, let's just stop. There's so much hate in this world. We hate everybody. Why do we hate everybody? Let's stop it. We don't know none of these people. And trust me, when they go to bed, they're not thinking about anybody in this chat. Yeah, they don't know you. They don't care about you at all.
I agree. Okay? I agree with that.
So let's stop hating each other.
Thank you, D. I agree.
Love y'all.
Love you too. Hey.
Okay. My game.
All right. My thing is this. At the end of the day, like I just want people, everyone. That's why we have the right to vote, and that was the point tonight for us to get out and vote and speak about the real politics and what we want, the policies and what we need and what we want to make this country better. It ain't about going against and gang banging on who is who, because we understand that's why everyone has the wrong right. You can go in that ballot box and privacy to vote for who you want, but we don't gotta. I just don't think we gotta bash anyone because it ain't that serious. Like I said, at the end of the day, these people don't know us, don't care about us personally. So I'm not gonna go for bad and die for Kamala or Trump or whoever's in office because it's about us as a people. So I just think we need to exercise our right to vote, but we need to not take it so personal because regardless, tomorrow whoever wins is gonna win, and then what? We gotta live with it. We gotta live with it regardless. So I'm just saying we don't need to kill each other over these people, whoever's going to be in office. You know, if we want who we want to win, and that's our right, and we should want that. You know what I mean? Because like she said, everyone goes and votes because you want to vote for that person for whatever reason you want them to be in office because that's what you believe in, their policies, and that's what you want. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, just like in sports. You know, our team wins or sometimes our team loses. We got to live with it. You know what I mean? So only thing we can still do at the end of the day as the people, we still got to be here and represent ourselves and do better for ourselves. You know what I mean? So we got to fix our issues as well. You know what I mean? With you talk about race, black, brown, but you know, and then we got to fix ourselves within our own self because we still the biggest haters on our own people first and foremost than anything else. You know what I mean? We can talk about race relations and all that, but our people are the only, we hate and kill each other at rapid rates more than any other races too. So I didn't mean to get off topic, but just trying to say at the end of the day, we need to keep it real.
Just keep it real, man. That's good language right there, and I appreciate that, man. He said a lot that was very meaningful and towards this night's, the live and how we carry each other and how we're supposed to encourage one another to tell you the truth. Like I said, tonight was not about Biden or Kamala. It's about using your rights, right? Yes. Register. If you're registered, go out and vote. And for a lot of us, we're registered. Let's be honest. Our birth certificate, the day we were born, you know what I'm saying? Our marriage license for some of us who are married, where's she at? You know what I'm saying? And even our death certificate, right? So, you know what I mean? Why not only, use our registration as individuals and maybe even make that change a possibility? Like I said, me and G-Lew, we did this 4 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're look at me and G-Lew. We're still homies. Hey, we're
It
still
ain't
friends. We're still
gonna
family. We're still doing our thing. We're talking about it, right? We live on Monday night the way it has been. And I have a lot of respect on G-Lew's decisions. There was never no hate, animosity. Hey, he did what he did, and now he maybe in some senses he want to make his changes. For us, I want to make a change too and bring me personally bringing back what I thought was better for me as a citizen, representing.
About. And that's what it's about. That's why everyone has their right. And that's why we should go vote, because you personally have that right to vote, and your vote can be that one vote that makes that change or that difference that makes your candidate win or lose. So everyone go vote, because if you don't vote, we could talk all we want, but if you don't go vote, it don't matter. So, you know what I mean? Exercise your right to vote, and hopefully the person you vote for wins, and hopefully that change will be made. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's all about making things better, man, because that's really that's the end goal, to have shit better than what it is, because no one is happy. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't think anyone is happy fully with what's been going on, and everyone wants better. You know what I mean? For your family, for you, economically, you know what I mean? Socially, you know what I mean?
My household, spiritually, there's a lot of other people that are involved when it comes to nationalities, right? You have Jewish people, as I mentioned earlier, you got Muslims, you got Asians. There's a lot of communities. It's not just us Americans, right? This country was made by, other individuals from different nations.
That's what makes this country, that's why I understand, even going back to immigration and policies, I understand we got to keep a kind of a lid on it because it gets out of control. But who are we to say who can't come here? Because everyone here is from somewhere. You know what I mean? This is what this country is about, the land of the free. You know what I mean? So everyone wants that opportunity to live better, because let's face it, like you said, this is the best country in the world to live in, bro. That's why everyone wants to come here, So who are we to deny someone? But I understand too that it affects us as well, because people that are here making a living, when other people come, you know what I mean? It's like taking food off your plate, you know what I mean? And you work hard for it, so that's a thin line we got to figure out, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Because that's a reality right there, you know what I mean? That's what they're saying in some sense, that, hey, when you have other people coming, on citizenship, coming from other countries, nations, and all that, on how some side it affects us and our system over here, right? So, you know what I mean? If those people are going to indulge and be in our system and they're not registered and not here, supposed to be, legit wise, then it becomes, a milestone to us as American citizens who are born here, right? You got other people who are getting taken care of better, and our own veterans, and we got people living over there on Skid Row.
That's a fact.
That's like, sometimes it's.
And I'm glad you said Skid Row, because my thing is too, what are we going to do? I don't hear any of these politicians speaking on the homelessness issues. You know what I mean? Unless I missed it. What are we doing about this? Because that is a serious problem, bro. You know what I mean? Especially if you live in LA. But all over the country now, it's becoming serious. But if you live in LA, you really know this shit is serious. Literally, it ain't about Skid Row no more. This shit is at your front door. You know what I mean? It's literally someone outside, somewhere on the corner, it's everywhere, and it's becoming a real problem, bro. You know what I mean? What are we doing about that?
Well, as you mentioned, there's towns, there's small cities, there's big cities where we could see where the problem is occurring, man, right? You're letting a certain amount of group, we could say at least 500, and then they get them, right? They provide a plane for them, free ticket.
Right.
They send them to a big city. And then right there, the city is left to deal with the situation. Now, in between that, where's all that money coming from? I'm a taxpayer.
Right.
There's taxpayers, and it's hitting our pocket without us even knowing it. So that right there has to be a milestone, and there has to be some kind of laws that come into it. This country is made by laws, people. Come on. If you guys don't know that by now, then, hey, it took me a long time, to realize that, to get into, politics, even to notice my rights in voting and what. Because in the beginning, growing up, you guys got to understand something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't even think I was going to live past 20. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't even really matter to me. I wasn't indulged. I was too busy in another era. I was too busy gangbanging. I didn't care about who was our president, what was our president. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't think I was going to live past 20. You know what I'm saying? My cousin was a good demonstration that he didn't live past 18. You know what I'm saying? So how much are you going to involve and really use your citizenship and what this country has given you? when some of us don't even make it to 18 years old.
Right.
Because of whatever you lived in, your background, your household, where you grew up at, where you're from. And that's why it's important, and dial in and get toned in and tapped in, to getting involved in some kind of participation. That's all we're doing is participating, just like tonight. Y'all come in, right? There's over 20 people here. You guys are, being resourceful. We're being a source of communication. We're here as a family, determining each other's value, our strengths, our weaknesses, what we do like and what we don't like. That's what we're noticing, gathering up. And a lot of us have differences, and there's nothing wrong with our differences. That's what we're saying tonight.
Right. We can agree to disagree, you know what I mean? But we just got to figure out a way to, we got to figure out a way, because
participation is getting people out to vote.
That's why everyone are individuals. Everyone was made different. So no one is going to agree on everything. Everyone has their own opinions on everything, but we got to figure out a way to somehow not, because that's a thing that we've always dealt with. That goes, like you said, goes back to gangs and gang banging and
there's politics everywhere, homie.
Politics everywhere.
Politics everywhere. If you ain't politics in your home,
it is built on politics. But we find a way to figure it out and still live amongst each other, and despite the differences we have, to still make it work. You know what I mean? We have to. You know what I mean? We have to do that. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is, man. The phone lines are still open. People call in and voice your opinion. Let's talk about it. We're still here.
Let me say this. Have you guys seen that movie where it talks about politicians, and this is the time when United States was at war with Russia and Afghanistan, and it's a true story, right? And what's his name?
We got a caller, Big D.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Okay, caller, hello. You're live on the line with G-Lew and Big D. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
What's up? That sounds like my sister right there.
I just was calling because I was in the back room and I overheard you talking, G-Lew, and I want to just piggyback off what you were saying, which kind of unity.
Okay.
What you were saying about having communication, being able to be in the same room with someone and be able to convey what you feel without, I love what DD was saying too, it doesn't have to be a fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing about me, is because all I knew how to do before was to fight.
Right.
And so my biggest thing is unity, and that's why I'm so passionate about that. And don't get me wrong, I still have my struggles.
Right.
But I just wanted to say that I love what's going on here too. Like Wes Carson was saying, again, we have a place that we can come and be a community and still keep the unity despite our differences, which in reality, we're really not that different.
Right. Facts.
It doesn't matter because we all bleed red. So, or blue, whatever, purple, once it comes up.
Facts.
For the fact checkers.
Well, it's blue,
but
when it hits air, it turns red.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
See, I could agree, even though I said it. That's a good thing. And in order for us to learn from one another, we have to share our information.
Right.
And by sharing information doesn't mean to fight about it, and that's something I'm learning. I'm still learning. And anyways, enough about me. I just wanted to call because when you were talking, that really hit home for me again. I just want everyone to love one another, because at the end of the day, when all this is over, all we have is each other.
Facts.
Because these people don't live our daily life. And so eventually we're all needing encouragement, help, a helping hand or whatever. And I did want to say about the homelessness too, real quick. Okay, so that's the reason, and I said it before. I told it last time we came on when you were talking about the homelessness, because you already know where my heart's at, where God gave me a heart for the homeless. And I'm still to this day plowing and working on trying to open up homes for those that are homeless out there. and we're still in the process. We're taking classes and we're doing little things here and there. Despite the struggle we go through, we still have to persevere for the purpose, because at the end of the day, all this is just the natural, the outside. But like you said, the change has to come from within. Then we can make a change in our community. But if you're hateful, if you're putting, like Didi was saying, women putting women down, we're already losing.
Right.
And we haven't even voted yet.
Right.
And you know what, Monica, to tell the truth, that's, hold on real quick, Monica, that's the truth. I'm glad you said that, because even right now, that's what it's going that they're saying that men are voting for Trump and women are voting for Kamala Harris. So sometimes it does have to do with the gender change.
Hold on.
What gender is. Yeah, my little doggy.
The doggy said, I got to vote too, man. A doggy say, man, shit, my vote counts too.
Yeah, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, I love you guys. Sorry, the dogs are barking. My daughter's here, but I love you guys. I'm in the background here for everybody, and I just pray God has mercy on us. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, my. Hey, is your Big D and Monica? Is your daughter voting for the? This is going to be her first time voting?
Or her first time. Yes, she is. Yes.
I only got one.
That's what's up.
I only got two.
That's what's up.
We got three.
That's what's up. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to her. And shout out to your daughter, man. Tell her we're very proud of her too.
Appreciate that, man.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, babe.
And like Monica said, man, that's why too, man, we can't, let this stuff come between us and we start hating each other over this stuff.
Yeah, because we're supposed to teach our young and our youth. You're right.
We got to lead an example. And when this is when the election is done and over in a few days, all the dust settles, everything's going to go back to normal. You know what I mean? So we still got to be here with each other. So don't go against each other and you know what I mean, all this shit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we got to come back to reality too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I like because a lot of that has to do with what the society is doing right now. Like what Raymond Guzman said, keep men out of women's sports. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I'm not a fan. I don't know what that is about right there. That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's why. And again, when I say this, I'm not, I don't have anything against, the communities and stuff, but we can't. I don't, that part of integrating shit and all that, that's not right, man. Come on now. We can't change the rules. Just like you said, we have laws and we have rules that were already set. You can't change them. You know what I mean? We can't do that. And that's not even right, bro.
Well, that happens because other tendencies and other people have policies and they're trying to gain a certain amount of people because there's different organizations that are being, built.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, homosexuality, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I respect it to a certain point, as long as you don't bring that narrative to me.
And that's my point, because I
have family that they're homosexual.
I agree.
I have a couple friends that are homosexuals.
I agree.
And we treat each other with respect. It's about, when I go out there, most of the time it's about work and business.
Agree.
You know what I'm saying? But anything else after that, you're being disrespectful. And that goes into everything else, what you do and how you take place. It goes into sports.
I totally agree. What up, Sonny? I totally agree, man, because keep it like you said, we respect everyone's, but when you try to, again, change the rules, bro, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And that's where it becomes a problem. And again, like Big D, I don't have any issues with the communities and all that, respectfully. You know what I mean? But keep it respectful, man.
And keep it within that margin, and keep it within those rules and those laws.
There you go.
And those rules or laws are very important to women. You know what I'm saying? How are we going to go and take those things away from women when, you know what I mean? When gene-wise, you know what I'm saying? The way we're built, men and women are built differently.
Right.
Despite whatever sexuality you believe in. I'm all for that. If you need a pronoun, hey, if you want to be decorated and this is the way you want to be put and said, I'll mention you like that. If your name was Terry, you know what I mean, being as a man, and now you want to be Terry as a female, I'll respect that. But when you're going to be Terry as a man and you're going to go Terry into a female sport, then there's a little problem.
Yeah, man. Like that's again, I have my issues, man. I respect everyone's, you know what I mean, whatever you do, but you can't, you know what I mean? You can't do that, man. You can't. There's nothing
wrong with change. Right. But a full change, then you know what I mean, you're gonna have people, you're gonna have mother supporters, districts, you're gonna have policies, you're gonna have people coming in and they're gonna have their opinion. And this is what this is all about tonight, right? This is the election.
What are we talking about? Sonny, you're late. Sonny said, what are we talking? We're talking about politics.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we're really talking about getting out and voting, period. This ain't about, you know, again,
politics.
Yeah, this is about getting out and voting tomorrow, exercising your right to vote. That's really what it is, Big Sonny.
But yeah, like I said, people honestly we're looking for things. Yeah, of course we're looking for things different. You know what I'm saying? But some things are set in certain ways because, you know what I mean? Because there's the way we are in life, in reality, there's only man and women. There ain't other species or creations or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So let's try to respect, you know, these organizations when it comes to a spiritual organization, when it comes to the LGBTQ organization, when it comes to sports organization, male, female. Let's try to keep certain things standard and straight. Why? That's where I think a lot of in the last 20 years, with all these other organizations coming out, we have opened a door for a lot of opinionship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of, you know, and that has really, you know, I mean, got people into a lot of anger and a little switch way before making decisions. You know?
Right. I'll be right back. Hey, the phone lines are open. Go ahead, Big D. I'll be right back. The phone lines are open, though. People call in and voice your opinion. I mean, let's talk about it. That's why we're here tonight.
Let's talk about it, baby. And that's what it is, man. Basically, as I mentioned, you know, telling people earlier, man, if Kamala Harris wins tomorrow, that's my president. I ain't voting for her. I totally agree with a lot of things I disagree with her for, but she is a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to criticize her. And then she is black or part black and this and that. I'm going to respect all that. If she could be the first woman, the first president for this country, I kind of wish I would have had Hillary Clinton a little better because Hillary Clinton understands a little bit more policies. She's been in the background. For me, I think Kamala Harris has been, you know what I mean, getting schooled these last 4 years, right? Because President, you know, Biden was going to come in, probably beat Trump for sure. And then after, you know, and then treat her the rest of the 4 years and upgrade her, you educate her on the next 4 years of her policy. So when Biden would have been up, then Kamala could have came in the background for what the full years as vice president and having some kind of knowledge. I think these last 4 years, she's just been learning. You know, she, like they mentioned to her, oh, she was the last one in the room, maybe being taught, being schooled, being educated. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't believe in her policies. I just don't believe on what she says she's going to do before, you know what I mean, anything takes places or the changes. If things happen tomorrow, then I'm going to give her the full support, man. That's all we could do in some senses. But when it comes to other things, when they're declarating or they're putting out there, there's going to be a full argument. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, how, you know, the vice president from Kamala's side, you know, putting tampons inside the boys' restroom, you know, those things I'm going to make an argument about. Those things I'm not going to agree. Those things I'm not going to vote for. Those things I'm not going to subside to. I'm going to have my differences. I'm going to have my changes. So, you know.
Hey, y'all are too funny. These I don't like. I say keep it respectful, but these comments are funny as hell, boys. Jeez.
Keep it funny, man. Keep it
I love the comedy. I love the comedy, though. I love the comedy.
Hey, that's how you guys feel in some sense. That's respectful. You know, we're not calling each other. You're not disrespecting. I haven't even seen too many bad comments. I think people are understanding what it's all about is getting out there and voting, man, you know?
Right. Voice your opinion, and that's why everyone has their own right to vote. You can go in there and vote, and that's why we have the rights, and that's what we're mainly speaking on tonight. Exercise your right. If you don't vote, I don't feel you have the right to, because we got a lot of people yapping and talking, and then those same people don't even go vote. You know what I mean? So I think that's crazy.
Yeah, because how do you build, you know what I mean, better? I mean, how do you really build better, bro? You know what I'm saying? You got to work together. That's what it is.
Shout out to the Chiefs. That was a good game, too. Shout out to the Chiefs. The Chiefs won again. They're undefeated, Big D. That was a good game. They went in overtime.
It was. I was watching a little bit of earlier. But let me tell you about the movie that I was talking about. I know the name of it. Have you guys, I'm going to ask, this is a question for you guys and the community who's on live right now in the comments. Have you ever seen that movie, Charlie Wilson's War?
Charlie Wilson's War? No, I'm not hip on that.
Okay, well, that's what what's his name that comes out on Private Ryan. What's his name? Tom Hanks?
Okay, yeah. It's a spin-off of that?
It's something that has to do something
I love that movie. That was one of my favorite movies back in the day.
Okay, so Charlie Wilson War, what's his name? Comes in. Tom Hanks comes in as a Republican. He's into the policies, right? But these are the policies. So they made changes because at that time, Afghanistan was going to war with Russia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with all the political movements and all that, if you look at the movie, Tom Hanks, they're partying on cocaine, they're celebrating, they're partying. It's a crazy movie. It's a true story. And it had everything to do with other nations that are doing. That's why a lot of these senators, right? A lot of these, they go out, the government, their governors, they go out to different nations to see what's miscellaneous happening out there. Like right now, what's the biggest thing that this country, the diversity that we're looking for? There's 2 countries that are in war preparations. We're at war right now, to tell you the truth, people.
Right. Hey, hold up. Tweet, you said folks need to be worried about if Trump doesn't win. He would sick them boys out again. So what? Okay, let me speak on that though. Big D, the Trump supporter and whoever else. What if Trump doesn't win? Do you think we need to be worried though? Because people that are you know what I mean? We're talking facts and we're keeping it respectful, but it is people like Denise. I see Denise is banging hard over there. It's people that will really be mad if Trump doesn't win. Do you think we have a problem on our hands if Trump doesn't win, though? Let's talk about that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, bro, because it happened 4 years ago, right?
It did. Let's talk about it.
And, again, you can't criticize on how people feel.
Right.
I'm saying you can't judge people how they feel. You can't change how they feel. You know what I'm saying? People are going to go out tomorrow and they're going to make a decision. They're going to do what they want to do. No matter happen. We've seen it happen 4 years ago. So that's the reality. That's the truth. Can it happen again? Of course it can. Is there a big possibility that it can? Of course it can. It might not even be Trump. What about if it's Kamala Harris' team?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't really know what we're expecting tomorrow. We don't really know what's going to happen.
That's right, but that's the big issue too. Like you said, I think people are so invested in this, whether who wins or lose, how people will feel. Like we're saying, we already said we'll keep it respect. Whoever wins, we respect it. All right. But we got a lot of people out there who won't respect it, and people are really invested in this, and we don't know the aftermath of this thing. You know what I mean? You're right, Tweet. We don't know the aftermath, how people will feel with people, just like people riot when people riot. Look, people rioted when the Dodgers won, and that's just a victory. So how do you feel this will affect people in the streets, win or lose on either side? What can we expect in this aftermath?
Phone number, baby, phone number.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about that. What do you feel the aftermath will be of this election? Good or bad?
In my opinion, since it happened already 4 years ago, I think Donald Trump knows that, you know what I'm saying, the government is looking at that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And even then, if anything falls out like that, that's why we're trying to come out here and make sure it's a peaceful, you know what I'm saying, voting experience, right? Not giving heartache and headache to other people. Because if we're telling each other, hey, let's just make it peaceful and this and that, then I think we will have less people going out there for all community with the same language. Because we're saying, okay, well, if President Trump don't win, then you know what I'm saying, then let's go.
Caller. We got a caller, Big D.
Let's go.
Let me see. Caller.
To accept, press 1.
Caller, you're live on the line. Let's talk about it.
Hey, gentlemen, this is Strange Days. How you guys doing?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Strange Days. Good to hear from you, man.
Strange, my boy Strange. Where you been, Strange? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Where you been, brother?
It's been out here in the struggle, just working and looking at my check every at the end of the week. And man, I swear, man, inflation got me. I know it's just a little much, but I don't want to ramble on too much. I'd love to, break a lot of stuff down and, get into it with y'all. But what I would like to say is that no matter who wins, everybody needs to prepare for, just a negative outcome, no matter who wins. What I would like to say to you guys is to prepare, get you guys some food, get yourself that toilet paper. I'm a second amendment guy. I got my hardware. I'm ready.
Right.
But I would just get ready, like if it's going to be like an earthquake, man, because there's going to be some things going on, where like Big D said, like we're at war. We're going to get into it. On the other side of the world, we're going to be getting into some more issues, and no matter who wins, there's going to be some chaos in the street. So, I would just say, just keep your prayers, and stay strong, stay focused on your family, and just prepare. Like I said, I want to get into it a lot more, but man, we'd be right here talking for hours. But best thing I could say to all y'all out there is just to prepare. and there's nothing wrong with preparing. So just be ready for what's to come. You know what I'm saying?
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Right.
That's right.
And you know what? That's pretty awesome. Strange Days. I'm so glad that you called, man. It's been a minute, but we had short talks about this.
Yeah, no.
And
we got a dialogue. We got I'll give you a call. In a couple of days we'll see what's going on. But let me tell you, how G-Lew was saying, after tomorrow, the next day, it's the dust is gonna settle. It's not gonna settle. It's gonna get. I feel that it's gonna get worse. So just stay in pocket, do what you got to do, and just watch your surroundings in the future. Because it's just gonna be crazy, man. So hopefully, where I stay, where our friends right here in the chat, where they stay, hopefully nothing's gonna get into their area. But all I can say is just be ready for a negative outcome, no matter what.
Yeah, real quick, Strange Days. It's funny how you say that too, because we haven't even mentioned tonight, the assassination attempts already on Donald Trump, man. There's been 3 of them, so it is kind of exquisite and even a little, scary, not to know what's going to happen the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Because we do not know if, if Trump could get assassinated. It's just crazy. You're right.
Well, they're not done. They're going to still try to kill him. They're not done. So, we're going to see some more action regarding that too. So hopefully he'll get, some people to help back him up. And, they want him out, no matter what. They want to see him dead. And, like I said, it's just so much we can get into right now. But, I just wanted to call and just give my little piece of mind regarding just being ready and stuff. And, just say some prayers, you know what I mean? And just be ready for what's to come,
Hey, Strange. Thank you, Strange, man. Yes, sir. I was going to say thank you, Strange, just for calling in, bro, and letting us see you, because we miss you, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. So thank you for tapping in with us, bro.
Appreciate you, Strange Days, man. Much love and respect, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, bringing this topic up. And you guys keep your head up, and we'll be in touch, man. You guys be well.
Stay safe, Strange.
Thank
Much
you.
love, bro.
Likewise. Be well.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Man, I'm loving the caller, man. Strange. I ain't even seen Strange in a minute. I'm glad to just hear from the brother, man. Glad he's okay.
Yeah, let me tell you a story, right? So me and Strange Days were talking before the first attempt of assassination on Donald Trump. We're talking like 2 months before that, what's going to happen in politics. Because a lot of us have been talking, let's be honest, especially when Kamala Harris came in and took over for Joe Biden, right?
Right.
A lot of people have been talking, but the first time when Donald Trump got his first assassination attempted, when he almost got really head blown off, I was up in the mountains. I had no reception. So when I came down the hill, Strange Days, my uncle, my cousin, my friend, and another friend of mine, like 6 people, they came down and were talking about Donald Trump attempted assassination. And I was like, no way, bro. Are you serious? So this goes to show you that this tomorrow, this election eve, tomorrow being the election day, you know what I mean? I think I see Sonny right there too. He said between now and the 20th, a lot of things could be different, man, and things could be really changed. That's a true thing right there. That's keeping it real.
That's real shit we got to really look at. Like you said, no matter who wins or loses, the outcome, the aftermath, because we see how invested so many people are with their candidate. And I just think, like you said, I don't think people will accept, like we just said, we'll accept it, okay, but I don't think people are going to accept whoever wins or loses, bro. I don't know. Like you said, I think it could get dangerous because we've already seen it get dangerous. And I don't know, man. That's the part we need to be worried about.
Because to tell you the truth, even this world, bro,
this
world is covering this election, bro.
Yeah.
This world is really covering this election, man, right? You got Ukraine out there voting, telling the Democrats, hey, I need your guys' money to win the Russians. You know what I'm saying? And you got the Republicans say, hey, the money belongs to America first.
We're on the verge of a world war. We're on the verge of a world war.
It's already happening, bro. Yeah, I think World War III was already when we went to Afghanistan, to tell you the truth. This is maybe, going to the end. We went out in World War III. We beat the hell out of Afghanistan. All the little freaking the Middle Eastern countries out there, man, putting it away. You know what I'm saying? And now we're at a pivotal point where people are coming over here now to get away from all that that demonstration and that dangerous of where they're at. So right now, not only politically.
How much longer though, Big D, do you think we would be protected? Because that is a good thing, and that we have being in this country, the USA, we have privileges, and we have been, to say the least, protected from a lot of this stuff going on. But how much longer do you think we will or can be protected before it really affects us? Because we say this all the time, it's stuff going on, it's a world war and all this, but we really don't see it, and we really not affected. We still live our everyday lives. How much longer do you think this will go on before we are really affected?
As long as that we have our rights, bro, our voting rights, man, the right to own a gun, the right to freedom of speech, the right to freedom of religion, the right for a lot of things, man. You know what I mean? Those, until they start moving those, our rights away, the amendments and everything, you know what I mean, the Constitution and all that, then I be really scared, because a lot of people are in a transition, right? Earlier, I seen on the comments, the new world orders could be coming right behind this too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How much are we going to change? How much is this country even going to adapt? How farther, or what are we looking, you know what I mean, besides hobbies, besides talking about this, besides talking about that, what's really going to take place, like Sonny and everybody else has been saying, within these freaking, you know what I mean, between tomorrow and January 1st. That's what, you know what I mean? I don't even know about that. Like everybody else is saying, all we could do is pray, man. Making sure my amendment rights are up to par, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
Up to par.
A lot of things.
Put that number up, people.
We're talking about, but it's a lot of bigger, really on some real talk, it's a lot of bigger things we really need to worry about, even though tomorrow is important, and that's why we're here tonight, right? To vote.
But the whole thing is about not who you're voting for. Go vote.
Yeah.
That's what this night's all about. That's what I've been saying. I've been putting on my channel. It's not who you're voting for, it's to go out there and vote. Okay, I'm not gonna be like everybody else. Oh, go vote for Kamala. Oh, go vote for freaking Trump. Oh, go vote for freaking Robert Kennedy Jr. No, just go out there and just go vote for whoever you guys gonna go vote. For me, it ain't gonna matter. Me, one person out of millions, it ain't gonna change anything, man. You know what I'm saying? If you guys go vote and change for somebody else, and vote for somebody else, I'm not gonna get mad, or you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm telling you, you know, forcefully, most likely humbly. If Kamala wins, I'm going to have to, you know, show her support. She's going to need it, you know, especially as a woman. You know what I'm saying? She has been declarated. She understands kind of what's going on, even though she wasn't good at doing what she was doing in some senses. But Trump has done the same thing. He wasn't good on the things he said, but some of his policies and his choices were better than others. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, because we got to understand, at the end of the day, these people are just human, man. No one is and you know, so no one's going to have it all the way right. These people are just people, you know, who are put in place, who are our candidates, you know what I mean? So these are the choices we have to vote for, but no one is perfect. They're human just like me and you. So I don't think anyone's going to get it right. Only one perfect is God. So at the end of the day, people, we still need to trust in God, man. Have your faith in God before anything. Don't
know your history
in man than God, like you said. But at the end of the day, we got to figure it out. But we cannot let this shit like divide us, though. That's the main thing. We can't let these things divide us, because that is the real issue. You know what I mean? We can't let these things divide us, man. We can't.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy right there, Chingaderas. It says, what do you guys think about Prop 36? That's my boy right there, Chingaderas. He's a good homie up there. He has a channel too and all that. I follow him and everything else. Yeah, but Chingadera says, what do you guys think about Prop 36? So to be honest with you, Chingaderas, we kind of elaborate and talked about that.
Who called in, wrote about, right?
Yeah, the homie, the first caller came in. We're talking about, you know, the difference, because we understand that it implements in more of the criminal or those who have committed crimes. And then after the changes, though, it's actually making crimes a little bit harder. So that one's a little bit controversial. You know what I'm saying? I have myself got to look at it tonight before I make my decision. Let me tell you one thing, too. When you guys go out there and vote, did you guys, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to vote for anybody. You can just go there and just put a policy. You don't have to vote for President Trump or President Kamala Harris. You can actually go there and say, I'm here for a proposition. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to educate myself a little bit more, especially tonight, before I turn my ballot in on that Prop 36. Because at one sense, I think we need a little bit more, you know, policy policing, you know what I'm saying? The crime rate, you know what I mean? The charges have to be a little bit more tougher because I remember back then, I don't remember you, Pops. If I just stole the radio from Target, I was going to jail, dog. You know what I mean? For a minute.
Yeah. That was my first ever. Yeah.
So shout out to Chingaderas, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Number, leave that number up there. Leave that number.
Yeah. The number is there. People call in. Let's talk about it. The phone lines are still open. 213-444-6764. Call in and voice your opinion, but keep it respectful. ESP, what up, homie? They both lie to get votes. Yeah. So at the end of the day, though, what do you feel, though, Big D, too? We know politics, as usual, are still what they are. Whatever candidate is up for election, they're going to tell the people what they want to hear. How much do you feel? And I'm gonna say, speaking from not personal,
from us.
From us. What do you think? Still, over time since we've been here, I know a lot of times we were younger, we didn't care about politics. But let me touch on this because you said this earlier, Big D. Now that we're older, elderly, you know what I mean? We respect things differently than we did as kids. Like, we didn't give a fuck about none of this shit. Now that we are older, we see things differently, and we know. We want, certain things we respect, and we understand our policies and laws and what affects us because we are citizens now and law-abiding citizens. We're not kids anymore, gangbangers, and don't give a fuck. We now have to care about what goes on in these countries, laws and all that. So they affect us. So they affect us more. But let me go back to this. So I'm glad you touched on that. But let me say this. What do you think overall? Because like ESP said, a lot of these candidates, they come in here, we hear it every time there's an election. They all tell us all these things they're going to do and what they're going to change. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. How much effect do you feel really though, does really happen though after people are elected?
Can I ask you this?
Yes, sir.
Was there a difference between Trump's presidency when we voted our first time to the last 4 years we've been living?
What do you mean? Hold up.
Has policies have things changed and affected you different from when President Trump was presidency? Have things changed now, like gas, economy, food, border?
Yes, they have changed. They have changed. Yeah, definitely. Shit is high as hell, but they go up and down too, though. So it's never where we can figure out what's really what and how it really affects, because they go up and down too. But yeah, definitely shit is out of control, especially groceries. Shit like that is out of control, man. Everything is really expensive right now. You know what I mean? For the average working class citizens and people, man. You know what I mean? I think shit like that, but that's my point though. What effect is gonna have? What do these candidates really do, whether it be Kamala or Trump? What is it gonna have on us? Immediate effect is it gonna have on us?
Right. Well, the thing is, like I said, man, that's why these candidacies came out. That's why Trump is out there, just like Kamala Harrison. They're trying to provide and they're giving information. I think one is doing a little bit better because one hasn't really came out publicly and talked too much about what she's going to do or what they're going to do for the country. While the other one, okay, in some sense, it's the same policy. Sometimes, yeah, it's true, like a yeah. But it all that matters, I'm seeing what they do. And just me personally, I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm not speaking for no other race, no other gender, no anything else. As a Chicano, as a Mexicano, I believe Trump's policies were better than Joe Biden's was. I'm not even including Kamala Harris. I'm saying Kamala Harris is coming right behind it. I need a little bit more, when it comes to, safety, when it comes to policies, and when it comes to the future. I just think these next 4 years will be better under the administration that I'm voting for. Okay,
yeah, but yeah, exactly. But like Amanda said right here, yeah, everything is higher, especially my car and home insurance. Okay, I'm glad you said insurance. I don't ever hear people speak on that. What can we do about some of these shits like insurance, which I think is one of the biggest ripoffs in history, bro? Come on, man. Like, why don't they talk about that? What can we do about certain things, specifically insurance, where shit is hella high? Every time I renew my insurance, the shit goes up. I haven't had a ticket or accident, never, bro, since I was 17. But yet my insurance rate goes up every time I renew. Like, what are we doing about shit like that?
And it's the small things, bro. And these are the things that I'm telling you. It's not about voting for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. It's for voting on your policies that affect, your cities, your state. That's the reason why insurance is going high, because we elected it. We selected it. We voted for it. You know what I'm saying? So, when the propositions are, not change, or, you have a certain amount of people, like earlier, the Prop 36, the Prop 3, the Prop this, the Prop that, all the proposition, that's what we're really also supposed to endeavor and adapt into. Because those little propositions, if we don't change them, guess what? The freaking insurance on our cars is going to be high. Just like gas. Don't you notice certain cities are higher than others?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go to LA, it's like almost $8. You can go here
I can't lie right now. Where I'm at right now, the gas is low. I can't. I'll give it that, but it goes up and down. But gas today is low, and I don't know, bro. But definitely in California, gas has always been high. I don't understand that.
Insurance is high over here. You know what I'm saying?
Insurance is high everywhere.
Mortgage, everything in California is high right here, man. And that's, you know what I mean? The community over here, let me tell you something. The California community knows how to adapt to one another. There's a lot of Chicanos that are here, bro. Even blacks, even Asians. We all live with our aunts, our uncles, and all that, and we work together, bro.
You have to.
I'm keeping it real. I live in I'm part of the freaking, you know what I'm saying? The freaking, So I know how it feels when it comes to that, you know what I mean? When being persuasive, and I'm the middle class.
Damn, she said gas was $2.13 today. Sheesh, that is wow.
Where at? Where's she at?
He said where at?
Where at? Wait. Amanda's from freaking. I forgot what state she's from.
God dang.
Man, are you in California? Where's that at, man? You know what I'm saying? I'm headed that way. Oregon?
Texas. Gee.
Texas. Phone number.
Jesus Christ. I can't be mad at that. Health insurance too. Health insurance needs to be fair to all, not a concept. Good shit, Darlene.
Right.
California will be for the rich eventually. It already is for the fucking rich. Even though it's like not that, but that's what they base the law, the shit they do with California, I think, because it is so many rich people there in the Hollywood and the stars. But that's only a small percentage. Most of the people ain't living like that, but they put that on everyone. That is the problem with California.
Right. Big time, man. And it's because why? Because we select the governor, the mayors, right, in the cities. I mean, come on. They were trying to get rid of Gavin Newsom. They already brought him out. You know, right now he's up in the ballot. To tell you the truth, they're ready to take him out. Not only that, what about the district attorney? What's his name? Gascon, right?
Yeah.
People who we elected put in policy behind there. You know what I'm saying? So just because you said like, oh, I didn't vote for him, I didn't vote at all. Well, you know what I'm saying? Well, you're part of the kind of, you know what I mean, what's taking place then, even though you didn't vote. I ain't saying you're going to be part of the problem. I'm just saying you're not helping the situation, but you're complaining about it when they're telling you gas is going to be $5 plus.
Damn, Texas $2.40. Texas got it going on. Shit.
That's why a lot of people are moving to Texas.
Jesus.
Florida. They're moving to Florida, Texas.
He paid $2.40 today. Jesus Christ.
Let me see.
But Tweet said he paid $5.95 a gallon.
Oh my God, bro! You know, $5.95, bro. I put it out there, bro. I put it out there when I was over there in downtown LA, right there on Barrow Street. You seen that gas station, Chevron, like almost $8. Homie.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now that's crazy, and that's how you do it in certain areas like Beverly Hills. All those places, gas is high as fuck.
I'm middle class, bro. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, you know what I mean? I ain't going to say I'm poor because you got to be careful what you speak out of your mouth, man. But, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be more humble and say, hey, I'm living, but it's a little challenge, man. Chingadera says car insurance is going high. Yes.
Car insurance is out of control, dog. That's what I think we need to focus on. Why aren't they saying anything about car insurance, bro?
So that goes right there to the question. Shout out to Sonny from the Street St. Louis. He says, I know what policy Trump's have. Well, he wants to work on the border. He wants to work on inflation. He's trying to put, you know what I mean, work in there. He's trying to bring so many policies down, as I just mentioned. Just those three alone, that's what the big ballot's about. Abortion is one of them. There's four of them. Border security, right? Bringing the gas prices down and trying to fix the inflation problem. Those are Trump's policies right there. He's been saying it for the last 3 months. And those are the things for me
he said
that I live based on. I live based on those things.
He said Trump said he's going to slash car. Okay, well, I didn't hear anyone. That's what we need to focus. If he said that, I ain't mad at that.
I think he said he's going to focus and slash a lot of things. People said that I remember that people were worried about when we get old, right? You know what I'm saying, our retirement, that Trump was going to attack. He just came on and said, who even said that? You know what I'm saying? He's not even doing that. He ain't going to go for, when we get old, right? Not our disability, but what do you call that?
Social Security. Social
Yeah,
Security.
Social Security, man. People are just putting the narrative that he said this and he said that, when, at the same notion, we could say that Biden said this and Kamala said that, you know what I'm saying? So the thing that I'm worried and concerned about, who's really going to attack what they're doing right now, and that's who's spoken more about that and who has testimony.
Overtime. That's a good one.
Yeah.
They
taxes, there's so much stuff that, even, not to put anybody down, but Kamala has just jumped on the same bandwagon as Trump has been saying. What's the name said, hey, I'm not going to use no taxes for, you get, or you ain't going to get taxed for when you get the extra money and all that stuff. And then next thing Kamala said, oh yeah, we're not going to, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I see one side of a party following the other. That's what I do. And it's not, to tell you the truth, it's not even that bad. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to get what you got to get, bro.
Don't buy a Hyundai or Kia. Many insurance companies are not insuring them anymore because they got stolen too much. They do focus on those Kias.
I have a Hyundai Sonata, bro. They broke into it too. I have right there.
Yeah. That's crazy though. About that though, that is an issue.
But they just put it back in the days. Pops in the 80s, it was what, the Honda Accords.
The Honda Accords, yeah.
It doesn't matter, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? If you can't do the time, don't do the crimes, man. So that's basically what it is, man. But
call in, Sonny. The number's right there, Sonny, if you want to call in. 213-444-764. Tweets.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let me see.
Strange
number. There it is. Yeah, a lot of good comments, man. A lot of good comments, people.
And this what this night was all about and what it was for. It's not to put anybody down or to really get ridiculed or anything or about policies or anything. It's about, hey, let's respect one another and get out to vote.
Yeah, get up, stand up for your
rights. We have fun doing it tonight. Like I said, me and G-Lew did this 4 years ago. We have fun.
I'm glad because I ain't gonna lie, I was hesitant to do this shit tonight. I said, Big D, I don't want, because I know it was gonna be an uproar, which it still was, but overall, everyone came together though. So this is what it was about. So I'm glad Big D, because Big D really pushed for me to do this. Let's do it, G. And I was like, I don't know.
Well, it was simple, homie. I went back to 4 years ago and how much love and fun we had doing it, man. Being part of this, not talking about it, but being about it. I ain't saying be part of the solution. Just believe in what you inquire, man. If you believe in Donald Trump, go vote for him. If you believe in a proposition, go vote for it. If you believe in Kamala Harris, go vote for her. That's all it is. It's simple. We're still gonna be my homie, right? We're still homies after 4 years.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
You just have a little distant, different.
I just don't like the separate. I don't want, because I know this shit gets everyone against each other in the separation. You know what I mean? I don't take this stuff personal at all. I really don't.
It says my homie Chingadera says Kamala wants to make affordable house if she's real, or is it the flame flower mortgage loan? See, that's a lot of things that's true too. When it came down to that.
Nay said, can we get free health? That's why can't we have free health? Like I see Canada and other countries have that. That should be something we should have. People shouldn't have to worry about going to the hospital and now they got a big ass bill, which nobody is ever going to pay to. That's another thing.
Education,
but it puts you in debt. But why should we have to worry about going to the hospital to get treatment and then you got a big ass bill if you don't have insurance, or if you do, or whatever? I don't know. But healthcare should be free.
Well, the thing is, what one thing I think we could agree on tonight, man, there's a lot of us are in that middle class,
We got a caller.
Let's go.
Okay.
To accept, press 1.
All right, caller, you live on the air. Let's talk about it. Montebello.
What's up, G-Lew? D, how you doing, homie?
Big Sonny, the streets ain't loyal. That's what they said.
Yes, sir. I got a question.
What's up, Big D?
I asked what Trump's policies were.
Talk to Big D right there. That's Big D.
Big D said it was immigration. What else?
It was the border, right? It's an economy right now. It's abortion, and it's also The other one that I mentioned, I'm trying to think about it right now, but there's 4 of them that are really hot and that are out there that people are really devoting about, and what really people are really thinking about when it comes to their wallet and how they're living.
Okay, so let's talk about the economy first of all. Are you talking about inflation?
Yeah.
Okay, inflation is at 2.4% right now. When we were under Trump, it was 2.3% inflation. Okay? Now, you also got the border. What policies are Trump running on? Those are not policies. Those are concepts that he's talking about. He has no plan. A plan is a policy. Go look under his website. He has no policies. Go look under Kamala Harris's website. She has policies. She explains to you her plans.
Okay.
So when you're talking about like inflation, okay? Inflation and the economy was better under Trump for one reason. One, he was following up by Obama's financial plan. To top it off, when like gas prices being lower, we were under lower gas prices because we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic, a global one. It wasn't the United States that had inflation. It was the world that had inflation. And the United States is at the top of the line with it right now in stopping all that inflation. They're the best. We got the best inflation out of the whole world. Can you explain that to me?
No, yeah. I'm just waiting for you to finish. Well, you got to understand, when it came to inflation, when it comes down, it was high when Barack Obama was in presidency. Even when right now, when Biden came in and Kamala came in, didn't it go up? It went up. They were trying to blame President Trump when it came forward because when COVID came out, a little thing started rising and his presidency was over. So it came up even with them for the last 4 years. What Kamala wants to do now, why didn't they do that 3 years ago? Why did the inflation go up? It went up for the last 3 years. Yeah, it's been down for the last year because they're making changes. You know what I'm saying? But 3 years prior before that, what were they doing? What are they? They're in office right now, Sonny. You know, Kamala Harris she's in office right now just with Joe Biden. Just one's leaving, the other one's trying to take over. So everything that's been happening this last year, they've been putting it out there, which they can because they've been working on it. You know what I'm saying? But 3 years ago, they weren't.
Okay, listen. Inflation. You want to talk about the gas. What caused the inflation was the fuel. Okay,
why? Why? Because hold on. Let me answer that. Why? Because
one mic.
They went out and they started getting gases from over else, and they closed our gas, right? Getting our sources, getting our energy here. They closed it, and they're getting gas and everything else from other states and other countries. Why are they doing that when we have the sources here? So that's why inflation, that's why gas and everything it has to do with energy has went up. I mean, it doesn't make it. No, you gotta really.
What I'm telling you, when we went into COVID and nobody was buying fuel, Trump purposely went over to Saudi Arabia, one of our main suppliers in fuel, and told them to cut production because it wasn't there. That's what caused the inflation. That's what caused the global inflation. We are pumping out more oil now than ever before in the history of the United States.
But as soon as Biden and Kamala Harris came in, they knew that. They didn't do that.
Right now, what I'm telling you is fact checkable. You can check it.
The facts to me.
If you're going to talk about something, wait, listen. If you're going to talk about it, fact check it. You got a computer in front of you while you're doing it. You can fact check everything that you're talking about.
But I already know that's what we're saying. Kamala Harris and Biden, when they came in the first 3 years of presidency, they went away with all our energy. They took it all away and they went overseas. They went over there to freaking Chile or whatever in South America country, Venezuela, started getting gas over there, started getting gas from all these other countries instead of investing right here what we have. We have everything we need in this nation. I don't know why the Kamalas and the Democratic Party have to go somewhere else and get it. Just like the border, right? There's the border. It was border security. Now we could talk about the border. Trump was going to build a border. I ain't going to say that a wall. Yeah, they could make, things to get over the border. Of course they can. But if they have something up there first they have to think about, then hey, it's going to make it a little bit more challenging when it comes to things like that. But when you have something open, I'm gonna walk through like they've been walking through for years. There's a lot of things that people are
No, see,
concerned about
that's
the communities, and when it does to the the state and what it was done to this nation right here. To tell you the truth, you could think one way and how things are going. If it's helping you and you're doing good at it and everything else, and hey, that's cool. But for some other people, like I said, I'm not middle class. I have my ups and downs, and me and you are different. We live different styles. You know what I'm saying? So it's just things like that. But when it comes to the overhead, I think when it came to energy, when it came to gas, what I'm saying, they went away with it and they went to other nations instead of drilling. Right there, that's what was the big old thing, right, Sonny? When they were saying, "Oh, she don't want to do a fracking, she don't want to do this and this," and she went away from. They went away from it, and now they want to come back and they want to use it. But of course, the last year, everything that went down, it could have been down for the last 3 years, but they haven't done it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. Look, first of all, you are not middle class. I am not middle class. Middle class is way above us. That's first of all. Kamala, yes, she's been in the office. She's been vice president. She has no power. She has a vote in the Senate, and if something happens to the president, then she takes over. She has no power. She can't make any policies right now. Okay?
I kind of disagree with that.
Fact check the fuel. Fact check it. Don't talk about it. Fact check it. You have a computer in front of you. Fact check it. We are putting more fuel out than we have ever done in the history of the United States.
Within the last year, yeah, of course. What happened to the 3 years when they first came? Why is gas up then?
Why do you keep saying the 3 years?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why is gas so high?
Kamala Harris was not able to do anything.
But she's the vice president. What do you mean? She can't even talk to Joe Biden. She can't sit down with him. Everything that Joe Biden said, he said that he will sit down with Kamala and she will give the last recommended to say yes or no. And she has on a lot of things.
She has no power. If you want to blame anybody for anything, then blame Biden. That's fine. Blame him. I don't care. But you cannot blame Kamala Harris for any policies.
Well, it's just like Raymond Guzman said. Then what is the vice president for? What is she there for? We already know. We can see already what's going to happen. She's a vice president. They're very important. What happened? Like just Trump almost got assassinated 3 times. So who's going to be next in charge? It would be the vice president, right? They have a say so. They do have a say so. They go out there and they represent just like under the presidency. They have the same power. You know what I mean? But the thing is, she was
refusing to fact check it. Why don't you fact check it with their power?
What do you mean?
Why don't you fact check it right now while you were there? Fact check what kind of power Kamala Harris has.
I'll let you do that. You have a phone too and an ID. Go ahead and tell us. We'll be right here waiting.
I finished just telling you right now.
Okay, but wherever you're getting your information from doesn't mean it's always right. You know what I'm saying? Where are you getting it from? What's your source? You know what I'm saying? Where is it coming from? It doesn't mean everything that you're checking and you're fact checking is correct. It doesn't mean that.
I can ask you the same thing. See? I can ask you the same thing.
Well, that's the difference. That's the fun thing. That's what tonight's all about. Go vote. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say your agreement. I'm going to say my agreement. We have our differences, and that's it. Hey, I'm a little bit more than poor. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not in the middle class, then you're considering me poor or rich. I'm going to have a little bit more poor. You know what I mean? I'm struggling, but I'm not trying to be poor. However you want to set yourself and what's happening, that's on you.
Okay. Look at this. I'm fact checking right now. Constitution names the Vice President of the United States has the President of the Senate. In addition to serving as a presiding officer, the Vice President has the sole power to break a tied vote in the Senate, informing, presides over the receiving and counting of electrical ballots.
So that means, you're saying that, what are you saying that? What does that mean?
In a presidential election, that's all the power she has. She has nothing else.
She has more power. She's the last one that makes the vote a couple years ago on that that she passed the bill. How are you telling me that? She has more power than the Congress and all of that. I mean, she's next in charge besides the president. That's not true.
I told you I didn't. You told me to fact check it. I fact checked it. I told you what it says.
Okay, well, in that narrative, it's not true. Not all of it, in some sense. That's why there's a difference. They could say whatever they want. If people put out information, hold on. People put information on the internet all the time. Does it mean it's true all the time? Of course not. I ain't saying everything that I spoke on and everything that I'm validating for and everything is true, but I'm talking about the main policies people are talking about: border, abortion, economy, and gas. That's it.
Those are concepts. He has no policies. He can't tell you how he's going to do any of this.
Who? Trump?
He can't tell you about how he's gonna perform these tasks.
I think
he has no game plan.
I think he's been talking more about his game plan than the other president nomination on what her values and what she's doing. To tell you the truth, whoever has putting out more information.
Stop. This has to stop. I don't care. Denise, I'm gonna call you. You better be ready for that call.
I told you where this was going.
How did we get into that, right? Everything's all good.
This was going. I told you.
Hey, I'll just say that. Hey, Sonny, we're gonna go. You know, things are. I understand what you're saying. We have our differences. And hold on, let me just finish this. You know what I mean? Everybody has our differences. You know what I mean? We have the whole thing was of going out there and about voting, not to vote for, not to bring policies, not to talk this. The thing of this night tonight was to go out there and to go out and vote for what you believe in, whether you're Democratic, Independent, or Republican. That's all this night was. So now, as far as policies, wait, hold on. Me and G-Lew didn't come here to talk about policies. As you could see, he voted for Kamala last 4 years ago, and I voted for Trump. We didn't come here for policies and talk about what's this and talk about. We just brought us some topics, and that's what we're talking about. The whole night's conversation about is go out to vote. Now, if you want to talk about other stuff and this and that, I'm going to believe in what I believe in. You're going to believe in what I believe in. That's it. You know, there's no disrespect. Okay. You're still my boy, Sonny.
That is commendable. But when you sit there and you're telling people how to vote right now, D. If you're
I didn't contradict myself. I'm telling people. I didn't contradict myself. I'm just saying, vote for who you want to vote for. I didn't tell people to vote for this person.
And that's the way it should be. You vote for what's best for you and your family.
So since you've been on, obviously you haven't been on here the whole 2 hours. And that's why you don't know what you're saying in some sense. You haven't been here on this whole life. You just took a little bit of what I said and you're changing it to your narrative. That's your narrative, bro. That's not mine or anybody else's.
You said it right now. I'm voting for Trump because of this. You're telling people how to vote.
Me.
If you're here, you're saying that I'm here to vote.
I didn't tell everybody else to go do that.
That's fine.
I said me, Sonny, I'm voting. I didn't tell everybody else to go do that. I think I have the right to tell people who I'm voting for.
Okay. People are telling us shut it down. Hey, this is what I was afraid of right here when I started.
It's good. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Sonny came here disrespectfully.
I don't want people this shit and divide us, man. You know what I mean? This was I was afraid of in the beginning because I know people are overly invested with whoever they vote for. At the end of the day, that's why everyone has the right to vote for whoever they want to vote for, and we should leave it at that because we shouldn't divide. We shouldn't be going at each other, man, over this shit, man.
It wasn't like that, homie. You know, this whole conversation. I was ready for this. Somebody come here. I didn't know it was gonna be Sonny. It could have been anybody. You know what I'm saying? We just came out here in this whole live and subscribe and talk about and let's talk about tonight. Let's go out and vote. I didn't tell you who to vote for. I said who I'm voting for. I think I have the right for that, but I'm not telling everybody else. The whole thing tonight.
You're making it seem like I just vote for somebody. I get it. I did. Like anybody?
Go vote. That's all that it is.
Fact check it. Fact check, right? Am I wrong for that, G-Lew?
No.
No, you're not wrong, but we didn't come really. We didn't really come out here for that, Sonny, because we're trying to change our differentials. We were trying to get everybody involved. We didn't bring up who we were going to vote for. Look at the thumbnail. It says go out there and vote. Yeah, we're not here to talk about today. Disagreement.
What up, Sonny?
G-Lew, when I had said it and I had put it on there, you vote for your conscience for who's best for you and your family. That's the way it should be. I'm not trying to change anybody's vote. What I am saying, though, is if people do vote, they should fact check what their policies are.
I think we said that tonight.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying. I don't like Kamala. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I do not like Kamala.
I respect that.
I have my reasons for voting the women. Huh?
I respect that.
Okay. I don't like Kamala. I don't like Galvin Newsom. I don't know why he got brought up.
Right.
I don't like certain things people do. But I will tell you this, that one is receptive to criticism and one is not.
Can we say that's your opinion though?
For the less of the two evil. I'm going to vote for the less of the two evil.
Right.
Okay? Now, when myself, I'm going to tell you that I am one of those people that you vote for your conscience, what's best for you and your family. But don't put out false narratives either. That's what all I was saying.
Well, we could say that there's false narrative from both sides. We could say that from both sides.
Look at D. I listened to you this whole time. Okay. All I'm saying is I'm voting for the lesser of the two evils.
Right. Okay. I respect that. That's why we're here tonight, to tell you the truth. That's Firme.
So I think in closing, man, at the end of the day, that's the whole point. Everyone has their own right to vote. That's why we have the voting shit. And that's the real reason we came on here tonight, just to get people to exercise their own right to vote. Everyone, when they go tomorrow, they're going to go in their box. That's why they have it secluded. And you vote for whoever you vote for. You know what I mean? That's why I haven't said even one time who I'm voting for, because I think that's supposed to be people's own right. But I know people are overly invested, and people are going to bang who they want to vote for. And like, I do agree with Sonny. I think sometimes people overly, you know what I mean, and push who they want people to vote for. And I think, again, that's the whole point of everyone having their own right to vote. You vote for who you want to win.
We didn't come out here like that.
Wait for the winner. And we will wait for the polls and whoever, when they get all the polls, and we will see who the winner is. That's it. And we got to respect it either way. Because at the end of the day, whoever wins or loses, we got to respect it. But that's what we talked about earlier. What is going to be the aftermath? Because I don't think people are going to go with that. You know what I mean? Okay, it's all good. I don't think so. Because people are really overly, you know what I mean, invested.
I'm voting for Pedro, dog. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, dog. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You know what I mean? So
it's like, look at it, just like Cecilia said.
Me personally, Sonny and Big D, I don't take this shit personal.
Very dangerous time until January.
I agree.
It's going to be a very dangerous time until.
I agree.
You know?
I'm not taking.
Look at. I'll just. You know,
me personally, I'm not taking this shit personal, bro. I'm gonna go vote for who I vote for. If they win or lose, it is what it is. I don't have no control over it anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't think I was being disrespectful to anybody.
No, you haven't. No, Sonny, you haven't been, and I'm glad you called, Sonny. That's why we had the show tonight, because everyone needs to call in and voice their opinion. That's what it's about. I just don't want us going at each other, bro. I don't.
No.
Look at, like, can I bring this up? Just like Cecilia said, she's been here from the beginning. Big D has never said for us to vote for Trump. He said for us to vote for who we believe in ourselves, for us. That's all I came. That's what this whole topic's about tonight. You know, so I didn't come here to explain Sonny to explain the policy, this and that. We were just talking about what people are talking about. People are talking about, you know what I'm saying, the border. People are talking about abortion, and people are talking about, you know what I mean, the other two things that we mentioned earlier. And that's all it was. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to change your mindset or trying to deceptive. That was not the concept tonight. But you were not here since the beginning, so you know, I get it, I understand, but it's all good though. Hey, I respect everybody, who you vote for, what you're gonna vote for, and who wins, and hopefully there's a good transition that takes over, and hopefully we go out and we're proud of what we're voting for and who we're voting for, regardless if you disagree with them or not. And that's what tonight's all about.
Yep, that's it. So I'm glad, but thank you, Sonny, man, for calling in, bro, and
all right.
voicing.
Have a good night.
Thank you, bro.
You too,
Sonny.
You're welcome.
Thank you, homie.
Bye.
All right, man, that was great. I think we should end it on that note right there. Man, once again, this was great. Some people said this was better than CNN, man. So I'm just glad people were entertained. You know what I mean? I'm glad that everyone got to voice their opinion. You know what I mean? I'm just glad this brought us all together, though. That was the whole point of this. It's not
all
to
conversations,
divide us, is to bring us together, and I think we did that tonight. So I'm glad for that. You know what I mean?
Right. And it was a beautiful thing, man. Like I said, we all participated. I think there was a conclusion of what's going on, but let's just separate that, let's all take responsibility on what's going on, and let's call each other and support each other, forgive one another, and keep going, moving forward, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's support and keep praying and let's keep it real on the things that we do, man, to our best ability. Keeping it real doesn't mean you're perfect, man. It's just, hey, it's just getting your censorship out there and go out and vote, man. So that's basically what we talking about, and let's talk about it, baby.
Talk about it, baby. Thank you. Thank you, Big D, man. I'm glad you pushed me to do this show. It was great, man. I think it was even better than the last one. So thank you, Big D, keeping it real. Make sure you go follow my homeboy's channel, Big D, keeping it real. He's going up. Support the homie and his movement. If you're new to this channel tonight, if this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And more importantly than anything, tomorrow is the last day and the official day. So just go out and vote. You know what I mean? If you have an opinion, you have a voice, you think this or that, just go out and vote. And that's the only way it's going to make a difference or make it count. So all this shit we're talking tonight don't matter if you don't go vote. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Exactly, man. You know, hey, thank you, everybody who came out here, man. All you 30, 40, 50, whoever came in and supported, you know what I mean? My boy G-Lew, and you know what I mean, who will take the, you know, the direction coming out supporting me. That's all love and respect, man. Please don't get it misinterpreted. You know what I mean? The last 30 minutes, it was going good for the first, and it still went good. You know what I mean? It just goes to show you that people are really emotional about this and really concerned about what's taking place when it comes to our citizenship and becomes our rights and our presidents and so forth, our leaders from us, you know what I'm saying? But let's just remember that we select the people, we select the leaders out there. They work for us. And other than that, as long as we could get together and respect one another, hey, I'm gonna leave you guys the way I came in, man, with a bunch of love and respect. So with that being said, it's your homeboy. If you haven't been here, like, subscribe to my boy G-Lew. He does a lot of things. This was just another great night, to tell you the truth. So you know what I mean? We'll be back, you know, soon. And keep it real, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chingaderas, I see you, homie. Hey, we had a great night tonight. Thank you for everybody tapping in. Denise, Sunny, Strange Days. Good to hear from Strange Days, man. And everybody else who came in and supported from the beginning to all the way to the end. Much love and respect. DD, love and grace. Denise Castillo. Everybody out there, man. You know what I'm saying? You know who it is, your boy.
Big D. Keeping it real, man. And thank you again, everyone. Once again, from the heart, thank you for joining us tonight and being a part of this, discussion and what we had going on. If you missed it, go back and hit the rewind button. It's there. And love everyone. But most importantly, put God first. You know what I mean? He's our true leader. You know what I mean? So with that being said, we out of here. We love y'all. Shout out to DD.
Let's vote. Don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote tomorrow, man. Okay? You know what I mean? And we out of here. Much love from the G-Lew Show.